Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Another Monday, another edition of the Sports Hounds, taking till 10 o'clock. Rob Brinkman, Brad Ryer, Frank Vesby on the ones and twos producing as usual. As always, brought to you by BMW of Atlantic City Studios, Gibson Mayer LLC, certified accountants, GibsonMayerLLC.com for more information. Boy, I feel like Mondays in the summer, they stink. Because every time, I feel like the second we're off the air at 10 o'clock, everything happens, and then we have to wait a whole 6 days to go for it. Kawhi's on the Raptors. I'm going to get into that later. I'm still angry about that. I'm very disappointed the Phillies didn't get Manny Machado, but I understand why the Orioles dealt with the Dodgers instead of Matt Klentak and the Phillies farm system, which I think is way overrated. But life goes on after Manny Machado. The Phillies are in first place. I believe it's the second best record in the National League in terms of win-loss record. But Scanzano Sports poll question of the night: what's the Phillies' biggest need at the trade deadline? We have starting pitching, relief pitcher, hitting. My answer is hitting. I need a right fielder who can pound the ball. Nick Williams isn't cutting it for me. Aaron Altherr got optioned to AAA, but I watch this team, especially in a National League team. You need boppers on the corners and you need defense up the middle. Hoskins is a bopper. Franco's been a bopper. Carlos Santana's paid to be a bopper, but $20 million, his contract's not going anywhere. And then that leaves Nick Williams. Is Nick Williams an elite player?
No.
I think you got to upgrade, which, all due respect to Manny Machado, I think Bryce Harper is a much better fit in the offseason for what the Phillies need from an offensive standpoint from the right field position in the National League to contend. So there's been talks to Curtis Granderson from Ken Rosenthal in The Athletic. That doesn't do much for me.
I like Curtis Granderson. He's always been a clutch player, and he's a guy that you could definitely use as a fourth outfielder to come off the bench, supply occasional power for you. I mean, he does have experience in the playoffs with the Yankees and the Mets. I mean, and he's very clutch. So
and if
he wouldn't hurt you. He wouldn't hurt you, especially in the playoffs. I mean, he's a nice addition, but he's not the answer, though.
Not at all. He would take Aaron Altherr's spot on the roster as the fourth outfielder.
Yeah, that's about what
I would
he would
still
do.
start Nick Williams, but, really the only outfielder, I mean, you keep saying Adam Jones from Baltimore. That works.
What is wrong with Adam Jones?
Nothing. It works.
I think Adam Jones would be a really nice addition, but he's a rental. I mean, he's 32 years old, but he's a rental. I mean, and he's having a pretty good year with Baltimore. I mean, I think he'd be a perfect fit, to be honest with you. And he's a veteran leader, and there's really nothing he doesn't do well. He's he doesn't necessarily get a lot of walks, but he does go up there hacking. But he's a really good player, though.
My dream scenario would be get Adam Jones and then also get Zach Britton.
Oh, Zach Britton. Now you're talking
get
big
two
time.
rentals for
a big time player.
Again, folks, I don't think I read today a bunch of it's pretty much a consensus top 10 farm system in terms of the experts, so to speak, that really study this stuff. But I track prospects too, and I have ones that I like and I have ones that I don't like, and I don't see the Phillies farm system as a top 10 farm system. I think that's pretty evident because I think if it really was a top 10 farm system, I think Manny Machado would be a Philly. I don't know how long I've been saying, Brad. We've been on the air together for how long?
What, 3 years?
3, maybe even close to 4 years.
Right.
How long have I been saying J.P. Crawford is overrated?
You haven't stopped complaining about him. You don't like him.
I just don't see it with him. I mean, if you're telling me that the Phillies have a top 5 prospect coming, I'm expecting a potential at least top 25 player in baseball, top 25 non-pitcher in baseball.
Yeah. Okay,
I got
Adam Jones's numbers, by the way. Up
Okay.
here. Okay, he's not having a great year. He is batting .277.
That's not terrible. That's
okay. His on base is only .302. I told you he doesn't walk a lot.
no. He's.
I didn't even have to look that up to know that because I know he's a
302 is not a good on base percentage.
OPS is only
Clintac won't trade for him
728.
with that low of an OPS because the computer doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah, his OPS is only 728, which is well below his
That's awful.
career average. He's got 10 home runs, 37 RBIs.
That's awful as well.
He's not having a great year, but again, you put him. He's got 27.
I'm not even
doubles,
sure that's
though.
better than Nick Williams.
He's got 27 doubles though.
But,
I mean, he does get a lot of.
Who else stinks?
lot of
Who else
doubles.
What other teams stink out there that have a corner outfielder that they can trade the Phillies? I mean, Whit Merrifield can play center field.
Do you really want him though?
He's not. No, he doesn't fit the power profile I'm
No.
looking out for a right fielder. But we could
No.
put Odubel Herrera in right and then Merrifield in center.
Yeah, you could do that.
And I think it's a no-brainer. But the problem with Zach Britton is that you have, I mean, I'm sure
the problem with Zach Britton
the
is that
Yankees are in on him. The
yeah,
Red
but they're
Sox
not.
are
But
in
they're
on
not.
him.
They're not. Listen, the Yankees and Red Sox, in my opinion, are only in marginally. I think the two teams that are really in on him are Houston and Chicago. Those are two teams that have to have
And we
him.
can count Cleveland out because they got Brad Hand
Right.
just over the
But those are
All-Star
two teams that have to have him, Rob.
But
Chicago.
All the
and,
Yankees have to do is flex a little bit. You know, they could offer their 8th prospect for Zach Britton, and it's better than the Phillies' 2nd.
They're not. Yeah, but
Adonis Medina stinks. He's not good. He's the Phillies' number 2 prospect. He's an A-ball. He's a 4.92 ERA. He has over a 1.3 WHIP, and you know, for me,
he's 3 years away right now.
But a guy who's going to contribute something to the major league level should be tearing up A-ball. No, am I wrong about that? Is that off base?
Is he in rookie ball or is he high A or what? I mean,
I think it's high A.
okay, you got to give him a chance. I mean, you got to wait and see how he finishes.
Why
the
do I have
season.
to give him a chance
Well,
when
no,
I can
no,
get
no,
a 25-year-old Manny Machado?
No, if you can, yes, I would agree that you should. If he was what was holding up the deal, then Clintac was nuts not to let him go.
And then Sixto Sanchez. I mean, I'm sorry, folks. He's 6 foot tall. He doesn't throw that hard. He's always injured. I don't get it with this guy. How, if you're not healthy at 19 years old, how are you going to be healthy at 21, 23, 25, 27-year-old? The correct answer is you're not going to be healthy.
No, I agree with
That's
you
the
about
kind
that.
of guy you can't ship him out of town fast
Well,
enough
let
for
me
a
ask-
guy like Manny Machado.
Let me ask you another question, okay? What do you think the St. Louis Cardinals are going to do? Because I got a guy for you, for the Phillies, on St. Louis.
Who?
Mr. Ozuna.
I think he's hurt.
Is he injured? Is he on the DL?
I think no. He's not on the DL, but I think he's playing through something.
He's not. I know he's not having a great year.
He can't throw the ball. You look at his highlights from Miami. He had a rifle from right field to home
and
plate.
he's not throwing well this year?
He gets it there on like 3 hops. Something's wrong. He goes months without hitting home runs.
What's happened to him?
I don't know. The only thing I can think about is that he's injured.
I mean, I'm just throwing guys out there that I know are pretty good hitters.
But I mean, I think the Cardinals are going to pretty much stand pat because they have a new manager, Mike Matheny. He was not a good manager. I think they have a guy.
He was. I don't think he was bad. I just think that they don't like him.
He wasn't a good manager.
They don't like him.
Well,
That's
he's
the
fired
problem.
now. They got that.
Yeah.
Who do they have? McGee something. Willie McGee.
All right. Here's a
Something.
couple. Here's 3 names for you. I'm
Something.
gonna name the Cincinnati outfield: Schebler, Duvall, or Hamilton. Any of those guys interest you?
Duvall or Schebler would. I don't think the Reds are going to do that.
Mike Schilt, that's the Cardinals manager.
That's the interim guy.
That is the interim guy.
Maybe that McGee guy's the bench coach, because I was watching their game when they scored all those runs against the Cardinals after the All-Star break.
I'm gonna just look up Adam Duvall's numbers real quick for you, just get an idea of what we're looking at. I mean, he doesn't make that much. He doesn't make that much money either. So,
but I guess those.
I mean,
guys,
Cincinnati. Listen, Cincinnati
this is a pretty
liable to
interesting trade deadline
anybody.
because the Crown Jewels already traded. Janoris Familia goes from the Mets to the A's. Hand goes from the Indians, or goes to the Indians from the Padres. So now you're really looking at what? Zach Britton, DeGrom could go somewhere if the Yankees want to buck up. But we were talking about it before the show. Who else would be in the mix for DeGrom? Who else, isn't a small market team, is going to be able to give him his money? Because he hasn't been paid yet, folks. So he's going to get a lot of money from somewhere. Like a team like the Brewers, the A's, or the Diamondbacks that could really use him. Are they going to pay their top prospects just to not pay him? I don't know about that.
That's a good question.
The only other team that could match the prospects that the Yankees could, and they can't match because I think the Yankees had the best farm system in baseball.
I'll tell you what.
If maybe the Braves?
If I'm the Phillies, Rob, how much do you care about batting average? That's my question.
Me? I care about batting average, but no one else does.
He's only hitting 203. He got off to a terrible start, but he has 14 home runs and 60 RBIs with a 203 average.
See, but Clintack's not going to trade for anyone like that. What's his on-base percentage?
Let's see. His on-base percentage. It's not on here. Yeah, they don't have. They have.
What do you want? Baseball Reference?
Yeah, it has. He's been up 306 times, 203 average, 14 home runs, 60 RBIs. That is not bad. I'll tell you what. I know 203 is low, but you know what? 60 RBIs. Guy's on his way to getting 100 RBIs on a.
That's fine. He certainly fits my.
On a lousy
fits my
team.
profile. Let's get to some of the Facebook comments here. James Wilder, a neighbor to the north. Is that your playoff brood, Brad? It already looks better than Ralphie's. Yeah, Ralph. Does Ralphie have his LeBron James jersey yet?
I think he's going to bring it in soon. I think probably Wednesday he might flaunt
If
it
I
out.
was Ralphie and LeBron James signed with if LeBron James was a Sixer right now, I should say, I would have his jersey in the white, the red, the blue, the Christmas edition with sleeves.
Oh yeah, all of them.
I mean, I think Brad knows how much I love me some LeBron James.
Yes.
And anyone who thinks he might not win the title this year, but anyone thinks he's not going to get the Lakers a championship while he's still an active player is out of their minds.
I think he's definitely going to get them to the finals at some point.
I know LeBron's going to give them a run though.
It won't be.
They're going to go to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah. And possibly lose to Golden State the first year.
It won't be this year because
not to get off baseball, but
third, yeah.
Not to get off baseball. But how about Melo?
Jeez.
He gets $28 million from the Hawks to go home, and then he gets to maybe be in the NBA Finals for $2.5 million with
Houston.
With Houston. If that doesn't scream to you, the NBA needs a hard cap. I don't know what does.
We need to fix the salary cap right now.
I have one question.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, this is what you keep hearing. Really? So Carmelo and D'Antoni are going to be together again?
I guess so.
Do you know how much they hate each other?
Well, he doesn't have to be the best player on the team. He's not anywhere. He might not even be in the top 5 players on that team.
Those two guys.
Here, Chromo's on the chat right now. Maybe Chromo can tell us what's wrong with Marcell Ozuna. Why does Marcell Ozuna stink, Chromo? But Chromo also thinks the Phillies need another bullpen arm. I think Zach Britton makes a lot of sense. They're just going to have to
Nito Freak. Adam Jones in the twilight of his career. Yeah, you're right about that, Nito Freak. David Roscoe, who will the Angels get? I think the Angels are selling, to be honest with you. The Angels aren't going anywhere this year.
It certainly looks and that's so disappointing that Mike Trout rarely gets to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the Angels are selling. I could see
free Trout.
I could see Tyler Skaggs getting traded. I could see Haney getting traded.
I think Haney's an excellent pitcher.
He's pretty good.
He's a little nicked up early in his career, but he always was a highly regarded prospect. He got traded twice in the same offseason the one year.
Wow. Well, I think he's pitched pretty well.
He
for
went
the
from the
Angels this year.
Marlins. He went from the Marlins to the Dodgers, and he went from the Dodgers to the Angels.
The
and,
problem with
like a week later.
The problem with him is that he seems to always have one bad inning. That seems to plague him every outing. He pitches well, but he has one bad inning, and he needs to kind of learn to avoid that, or at least to keep it within, maybe 1 or 2 runs instead of 3 or 4 runs.
I like him as a pitcher, but he's not Roy Halladay. That's going to happen sometimes.
No, I think Skaggs is definitely going to get traded. I could definitely see him get.
He's
moved.
good too.
Yeah,
Mike Parker,
he would be
Ozuna,
pretty good.
and Dexter Fowler both. What the hell happened? I think Ozuna's injured. Dexter Fowler's just old. The Cubs and Rockies got the best.
Yeah, Marcell Ozuna would be good. Dude, I like Duvall. And you know what? He started out he was hitting like 150, 160 for a long time, and he's been hot.
Duvall isn't terrible, but he's a power guy. Yeah, I need a basher in right field. If the Cubs are good, the Reds want to give up Duvall, I'm all for it. He can't cost that much on the trade market.
No, he won't.
And if I'm Matt Klintak, I'm trying to clear house of all these overrated prospects. Overrated prospects.
I like
if the
Adam
fact
Duvall.
that Manny Machado is not in red and white pinstripes doesn't scream to you that the Phillies farm system is overrated, I don't know. I can't help you. It's clear as day.
Rob,
the writing's on the wall. It's up to Klintak and the Phillies fans to just read it. You just got to read the writing on the wall sometimes.
60 RBIs is a lot
It's
of
good.
RBIs.
It's
That-
good.
That means that this guy may not get a lot of hits, but he's a clutch hitter.
And, oh, my gosh. Nick Williams in the outfield is an adventure. He usually catches the ball.
So is Duvall.
But sometimes he doesn't, and he looks awful on the most routine plays.
Duvall's not a
in my
great fielder
observations.
either. I've seen him in the outfield. He's not great.
But I think Nick Williams is. I don't think he's
I know
that
you're
good.
really down on Nick Williams, though.
I don't think he's that good. I just don't.
I mean, listen, there are guys.
Look, Nick Williams is free to prove me wrong anytime he wants and turn into an MLB caliber starting right fielder.
What about Nick Castellanos? He's playing the outfield now.
Nick Castellanos is absolutely tremendous. He
You
has
don't think
15 home runs.
You don't think Detroit wouldn't trade him? I think Detroit might trade him.
He's going to cost,
Yeah, but he's a stud.
I would love Nick Castellanos.
I
Because
mean,
he can play third
you're
base,
asking
too.
me- you're
he
asking
can
me
play
about-
third base,
You're
too.
asking me about corner outfielders who would help the Phillies. Nick
I haven't seen
Castellanos
his
would
name
be-
out there. Oh, yeah, Nick Castellanos is fantastic.
Just because the guy's name
he's hitting
isn't out there.
He's hitting 304. He's got 15 home runs. He's got 60 or so RBIs.
I mean, just because his
He's
name
got a
isn't out there.
350 on base percentage. You're right. That's why you pay a GM to make shit happen.
Yeah, that just because
Matt
his name
Klintak
is not
couldn't
out
make
there,
shit happen
that
when it
doesn't
came
mean,
to Manny
that
Machado.
doesn't mean he's not gettable.
Oh, I think that.
I think Detroit at this point,
I think the Phillies.
anybody is gettable on Detroit.
I'll tell you what. If the Phillies get Nick Castellanos, they might not beat the Dodgers in the NLCS.
Yeah, but he's a real
but
good player.
They'll put up one
mean,
hell of a fight.
That's a guy.
That would be
I
a tremendous addition.
Yeah, that's a guy that they could definitely try to get. I mean, he would be an upgrade, right? I mean, I think he's better than Duvall too. I mean, I
Definitely.
I mean, listen.
Light
remember,
years.
remember the ballpark he plays in. He plays that Detroit stadium is basically Yellowstone Park as far as trying to hit home runs and getting a lot of RBIs. Terrible hitters ballpark.
Greg Milko, what up, fellas? For me, it's a toss-up between a starting pitcher and a bat. After Eflin's dud tonight, I lean starter.
That's only one outing. You know?
Okay.
I mean, some
Against
guys.
the best team by far in the National League.
Yeah, you're being a little tough on him. I mean, he did shut out the Yankees. I mean, he's got some ability.
Look at the Phillies team in 08. Like, they didn't have – Hamels was an ace. They have that, which they have an ace this year in Nola.
Yep.
Did they have Lee in 2008?
No.
They did not.
No. It was Hamels, Brett Myers, Moyer. They traded for Joe Blanton and Double K, Kyle Kendrick.
Oh, man.
Moyer was really good that year.
He was tremendous.
Yeah.
Moyer was really good.
He was
that year.
excellent in the playoffs.
Yeah, he was real good.
That's my point. Not big names.
You also had
but you won a championship.
But you had a fantastic bullpen.
That's exactly where I'm going. You had Lidge, who didn't blow a save. You had Antonio Bastardo.
Tony Bastard.
Who was still good.
Bastardo
He was
was
still good
he was
then.
lights out as a lefty in the bullpen.
J.C. Romero.
You had Romero and you had Madsen.
Yeah.
You had a real good
If they had
bullpen.
the lead in the 7th inning or later, it was done.
Yeah.
Well,
It was over. It was
but
locked
that's the
down.
whole. Listen,
That's
you
the
can-
point.
you can
That's
make
why
the
I would
same-
rather trade for a bullpen guy than a starter.
You can make
Oh,
the
yeah.
same argument about the Kansas City Royals in 2015. Their starting pitching was nothing to get too hung up about. But if you take a look at their bullpen was tremendous that year.
And they traded for Cueto,
Yeah.
who ended up being a rental but got the job done.
Yes, he did. But if you take a look at their starting pitching, I mean, who was the starting pitching? They had Duffy.
They had
Cueto.
they had that guy Yolanda Ventura who died in a car accident.
Yeah, but he was very inconsistent.
But he was good. He had good stuff.
Yeah, and then they had that
He's
other guy.
24 years old.
They had the other guy who ended up going to Miami, who threw the no-hitter last year. I just can't remember his name, but now he had Tommy John surgery. You know what I'm talking about?
Caleb Smith.
No. He was
On the Rays, right?
no Miami, the Marlins. He threw a
Marlins.
he threw a no-hitter last year.
Oh,
On the Royals.
He was on the Miami Marlins last year, and he threw a no-hitter. I just can't remember his name, and then he ended up getting Tommy John surgery. But he's not that great a pitcher. But I mean, he was effective
I know
enough.
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
my
that's why I'd
goodness.
rather trade for Zach Britton than a starter.
Zach Britton, listen, you get Zach Britton on your team, that just takes the entire bullpen and moves everybody up a notch. So your ninth inning guy would become your eighth inning guy, and then your setup guy then becomes your seventh inning guy, and then some of your other guys you can bring in and pitch them in situational type areas. I mean, that's the kind of pitcher Zach Britton is. If Zach Britton was on the Yankees, he would not be a closer. He would just
Edinson
be
Volquez.
a situational. Thank you. That's the one. Edison Volquez.
Wow.
Thank you. That's the guy I'm talking about. Edison Volquez was okay.
He was okay.
He was okay, but he was still one of the Royals pitchers in the playoffs,
Yeah.
and they were able to win with him because he would pitch 4 or 5 innings, and that bullpen was just dominant back then of Kansas City's, and they had Herrera at the end. You know, and nobody. They had Herrera and they had Wade Davis.
Right.
I can't remember. I can't remember all the guys they had,
Yeah.
but I just remember those two. I mean, just think those two guys were in the same bullpen. And they were dominant back
Exactly.
then.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at the Yankees. It's the same with the Yankees right now with their bullpen. Their starting pitchers, other than Severino, are up and down. But if they have the lead after 5-6 innings, they've got the guys out there to shut it down. And the Phillies should be looking at that. I mean, if they can't get a starting pitcher, and I'll be honest with you, there's just the starting pitching right now in the trade market really is how do I put this to be nice? Less than exemplary.
Yeah.
I mean, their starting pitching is awful. So if you look at it, Jay Happ, no thank you. Cole Hamels, he stinks. He's washed up.
John Morrissey of MLB.com reporting that Cole Hamels is on the verge of becoming a Washington National.
That's what I heard. And the Washington Nationals were the team that are. He had like
Cole Hamels.
he had like a 20-team no trade clause, and
Yeah,
the
they're not
Nationals
on
were not on that list.
So they're going to get another $20 million added to their payroll.
Well, they're going for it.
You know, they're like in a win
Cole
now
Hamels
mode.
is just not good.
It's crazy.
I mean,
his ERA was mid-4s. Now I understand
They
the
stink
American
down
League has.
there.
I
He's
understand
coming
the
back to
American
the
League.
National League.
I understand the American League has a DH and you know the Rangers stink, but I mean, he has not pitched well. As far as I'm concerned, you can have him.
The Mariners, Yankees, and Braves also are reported in the mix.
Yeah.
For Hamels?
For Hamels.
I don't want him. I would rather. You know what?
Well, who would you rather have starting Game 3 in Boston or something? Cole Hamels or Sonny Gray?
I'd rather have Hap.
And that wasn't the why do you do this? You just change the whole question and just
Way to dodge
You're
the
asking me.
question.
You're asking me Sonny Gray or Hamels?
yes
Oh, against the Red Sox? I guess
against whoever the Indians or the whoever they would have to play. One of those really good teams.
I guess I'd rather have Hamels, but I mean, I don't think your upgrade. That's really much of an upgrade, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I just don't think it's if you're going to make an upgrade, make an upgrade, make a statement. I mean, I don't think Jay Happ is that much of an upgrade. I think I think Skaggs is an upgrade.
Skaggs or Haney would be an upgrade.
Or Haney, or
now,
Danny
Like,
Duffy.
can't the Yankees and the Mets just get along for 15 minutes and work out a trade for Jacob deGrom? Why can't they do that? It
They
makes
might.
so much sense.
They might. I'm remember when I said 0% last week? I've now moved the bar up to 20% because just based on what I heard today from Rico, the one of the a member of the three-headed monster, which is the Mets 3 GMs that are overlooking the team in place of Sandy Alderson, that they are willing to consider trading Jake DeGrom. However, it would take a lot for him to get traded. Obviously, it's going to take 4 pieces. It took 3 pieces to get Chris Sale, correct?
3 really good pieces.
Yeah, 3 real good pieces to get
Was it?
Chris
It was
Sale.
Moncada.
And 2 other guys. I just can't remember who the other 2 guys were.
Frank, can you pull up the Chris
Yep.
Sale trade?
I'm going to look up the Chris Sale
Yeah.
trade right now.
So it's going to take, if it doesn't take 3, it may take 4.
And
Maybe 4.5 if you put.
Send him. If the
I mean,
Yankees get Jacob DeGrom and they have DeGrom and Severino at the top with Tanaka number 3, and then whatever you pitch CC 4th or whatever when you need him.
that would be a real good staff. Then you can
That's
tolerate.
the best team.
You
So
can
I think-
tolerate Sonny Gray as your number 5 pitcher. I mean, I'd be
All
okay
right.
with that. He doesn't have to pitch in any
Who
big
was the
games.
trade?
The trade was for Yoan Moncada, Michael Kopech, Luis Alexander Basabe, and Victor Diaz.
All right, so they had 4. There were 4.
That was
minor
for
leaguers.
2 top 20 guys. Moncada was the top prospect
Yeah.
at the
Right.
time when
And
he
I
was
believe
traded.
Kopech
Okay.
was on that list as well.
Kopech is still on the.
Yeah.
He's still
Yeah.
technically a prospect. He started the
Kopech
futures.
is still very good.
He started the futures game, I think, over the All-Star break for the United States.
I think so, yeah.
I think he did.
I
I
could
think
be
he
wrong
did.
about
No,
that.
I think you're right. So if it took 4 guys to get Sale, and I wouldn't say DeGrom is as good as Sale,
So what do you give?
but he's definitely in the same. He's definitely in the same planet.
well,
though.
what do you give? You give Andahar?
Oh, you got to give him. You got to give. I mean, obviously the Yankees can't trade Torres, but if you're not going to trade Torres, you've got to give him Mandahar. You got to give him
That's
Sheffield.
third base.
You got to give him Sheffield because
That's
your
fine.
top. It's a top pitching prospect. You got to get him Estevan Florial, who's the top positional prospect, even though he's a year away. So those are 3, and
But-
and Clint Frazier. You
Well,
got
how
to
old
give him.
how old is Aaron Hicks?
Aaron Hicks is 28.
Okay, he's still got years left. He's a good player.
Oh, I like Aaron Hicks. No, Aaron Hicks is fine, and you know what? They could always re-sign Gardner for 1 more year next year if they had to. I mean, that's not that big a deal. Clint Frazier. The only problem with Clint Frazier is he's got another concussion. So I mean, I don't know how much trade
Well,
value he has with that. But
you trade Florial and you hold on to Frazier, so you still have an outfielder in the bank.
well, if the Mets want him though, they're going to have to include him.
I think that the Yankees farm system is good enough where you don't have to trade both.
I'll tell you
those
another guy.
outfielders. You can
I'll tell you
find
another guy the Mets could probably use is Tyro Estrada, who's a real good second
What about
baseman.
Albert Abreu or Chance Adams?
Chance Adams, I think they would trade. Albert Abreu, boy, I'd hate to get rid of him. He's, oh man, he throws 100 miles an hour. That guy, he throws between 100 and 102, and he's starting in high A
But,
right now. And he's been
I mean,
good.
if I'm the Mets, I'm just looking. I'm staring Cashman down and saying, "Look, you want to go to you want to lose in the wild
Well,
card
yeah,
game or
they're-
the first round,
they're-
or you
they're
want to
playing-
go to want to win the World
they're
Series?"
playing. They're having a big high stakes chicken game because the Mets want what they want, and the Yankees want to give up what they want to give up. I think in the end, I think that this could happen because it sounds like
I think it is going to happen.
I think the Mets do realize that they're going to have to do something. I'm just wondering if the Yankees agree to take maybe Frazier's contract off their hands.
Todd Frazier.
Yeah, if that would be what
Does that
works.
expire in the off season?
No, it expires next year. He signed
That's
a 2-year,
fine.
$8.5 million
You keep
contract.
him on the bench for $4.5 million. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's 8.5 a year. He signed
Well,
a
that's
2-year,
the Mets
$17
for you,
million.
but still, the Yankees can eat that. You get the
Yeah, they could. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If the Yankees,
I already see it now. They're going to trade for DeGrom. They're going to sign him to an extension.
I think the Mets would want the Yankees to take one of those contracts off their hands too.
Andahar is going to be in the DeGrom trade, and then they're going to sign Machado.
Next
big
year.
money
Yeah,
in the
I could see
offseason
that.
to play
I
third.
could see that.
And Machado will be fine because I think he wants to be a Yankee, and 2, I think all his posturing about what position he wants to play is all about getting his
It's all
money.
about money. Yeah,
It's all about getting his
yeah.
money.
Yeah, because he's not
He's going to get his money from the Yankees.
and he's not as good a shortstop as Didi Gregorius.
No.
Not defensively.
He's not really that good at shortstop in the major league.
No, he's okay. He's okay.
Tremendous third baseman. Gold glove.
He's like Brooks Robinson at third base. He's one of the best third basemen I've ever seen, to be honest with you.
So I
shortstop, he's okay. That's, he's not going to hurt you, but he doesn't have a lot of range at shortstop.
But what are the Orioles going to say to him? You can't play shortstop when they're 30 games under 500.
The Orioles had no choice.
Stunk.
But listen, you know what? Alex Rodriguez accepted the fact that he would play third base with the Yankees. I'm sure Manny Machado would do the same thing if it came down to that. If the Yankees are offering him the most money, and I know he wants to play in New York, and the Mets aren't going to pay him, so that would be the perfect storm for the Yankees. So we'll see. I think the Yankees should try to do whatever they can to get DeGrom. I think it makes the big difference.
I think the writing's once again. I think the writing is on the wall. It's just up to the fans, people like us, to read it.
Okay, Greg Holland is a bust according to F. Deems for the Cardinals. Nats will just fold again. Let's see.
Well, they've already folded.
Yeah,
I'm going to say it again. I said it last week. The Nationals should trade Bryce Harper. They should trade him.
They should. The Nationals.
They have a guy named Victor Robles in the minors. He's a top 5 prospect. If they're scouting of the Latin American outfield pool is anything, if he's anything like that guy, that freak Juan Soto they have.
Juan Soto is unbelievable.
They're pretty set in terms of outfielder. You find someone to play center field.
Juan Soto is
a beast. Trade Bryce Harper. You have Max. You have Mad Max at the top. He'll be there for the rest of his career based on his contract. Strasburg is signed.
How many more years does Scherzer have?
I'm not sure, but
well,
I would rather.
I think Gio Gonzalez would certainly be a trade candidate because he's.
I would trade.
He's going to be a free agent.
They'll be in a better position to sign Turner to big money, which he's going to get in a couple of years than they are right now to paying Bryce Harper big money. They should trade Bryce Harper. They should trade Bryce Harper to the Phillies, honestly. They get chance number 2 to dump all these average prospects.
You think they're going to trade with it? Well, it doesn't really matter. You got to look at it this way. If you should make the best deal, you shouldn't worry about whether the team is in your division. If whoever offers you the best deal is who you should make the deal with. The stuff about trading,
I would try not to trade him in the division.
Well, you could try not to trade him in the division, but you know what?
Where else fits though?
Oh, for the Phillies, you mean?
No, where else if the Nationals said, you know what, screw this, we're not doing anything. Our 2 aces are fighting in the dugout. We're 500. We're behind the Pirates in the wild card race, who are paying nobody, which is super embarrassing.
Yes,
what teams would fit?
Wow,
the Phillies would be a long-term fit.
What about Arizona?
Who's there? They have Pollock. They have. Yeah, that would fit.
They have Pollock.
I don't know if the Diamondbacks are in a position to pay him long term.
No, but as a rental, they got Peralta and Pollock. Who's the other outfielder?
I feel like we're missing someone.
Yeah, we are. But Peralta, by the way, is having a tremendous year. I think he's got like 16 homers and 50 RBIs.
He's a tremendous hitter.
Yeah, he's a real good player. Arizona would certainly be somebody. What about Milwaukee?
That would be another rental.
Yeah, they're another team that would probably go after him. The Cubs would certainly take their shot. The Cubs are always in the middle of everything.
That's another one.
I don't see the Red Sox because I just don't know where they would put him. Can Bryce Harper play center field?
Sure.
He can.
Yeah, he's a
He's
very talented outfielder.
He's a little better. He's a little better than Jackie Bradley. I suppose he could play there, but
they have David Peralta plays left, AJ Pollock plays center, Steven Souza Jr., formerly of the Rays. They brought him over to play right field.
Yeah, he's finally off the DL.
John Jay as the 4th outfielder, and Chris Owings can play every position.
Right. So they could definitely use him, and he'd be a major upgrade over Steven Souza Jr.
Oh, he's the best. He's if you put Hart, he's the best outfielder on the team if he goes there.
Yeah, by far. I mean, they're
Not sure what they would do in the offseason, if they would be in contention to re-sign him, or if they even have the prospects that it would take to.
What about Colorado? I mean, you put him on that team. You put him on that team with all that offense. Boy, oh boy.
See, Colorado might be a team that could land DeGrom because they have a guy named Brendan Rodgers who dominated the futures game and has been a top 10 prospect for years. So that's the only other one that might fit for DeGrom.
Here's the question:
I don't
does
know if
DeGrom
they'll sign him though.
Does DeGrom? Well, DeGrom doesn't have one of those contracts where he doesn't have a no trade contract. So
No, and he hasn't been on the same. He's not a 10-year vet who's been on.
No.
What is it? 10-year vet, been on the same
10-5.
10-5
It's 10 and
guy.
5. Yeah,
10
he hasn't
years in
been
the
around.
league, 5 on the same team.
No, he's
not a 10-year vet yet.
No. This is his 5th year with the Mets, though. But I don't think he has any say yet where he can go and where he can't go.
I
So
mean, anywhere is better than the Mets.
right now, yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, he loves playing in New York, but I mean, you can have it both ways if he plays with the Yankees. F. Deem says Bryce Harper has in fact played center field, so I mean, he could end up with the Red Sox too. Colorado would certainly be an interesting fit for him, though. Bryce Harper. I mean, if you think about it, you're talking about that prospect you just mentioned. Maybe Washington would want him.
Oh, everyone would want him.
So that's
So good. His name's Brendan Rodgers. I think
where does he play?
he's a shortstop, second base. If you're a shortstop, you can play anywhere in the infield.
Well, obviously, yeah.
DJ LeMahieu's in his walk year with the Rockies, so my guess would be that they'll let LeMahieu walk and bring up Rodgers to play second.
And
Because Trevor Story's having a fantastic
LeMahieu,
year.
And LeMahieu will end up with the Red Sox.
Arenado is he's not going anywhere at third.
No, but I mean, if they try to do it for 1 year and try to win and try to get into the playoffs, I still don't know that they have enough pitching.
My National League pennant pick would certainly look a lot better if that happened. Pick the Rockies in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I just don't know. You know, if the Rockies don't win the division, they have to play a playoff game. Who's going to pitch the playoff game? That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the problem they had last year.
Herman Marquez is on fire right now. Tyler Anderson's having a pretty good year.
Tyler Anderson's been very inconsistent, though.
Not lately.
He was when he was on my fantasy team.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's I'm just going by that. He was not consistent with when he was there. But I mean, again, you know, it's more than just that, and I realize that. But there are guys. The Cardinals are a team I don't understand though. What is going on with them? Are they going to play or are they not going to play?
I don't know.
Did I hear right that Martinez might be on the DL? That he got hurt?
Carlos Martinez, yes, he strained his oblique yet again, and he is on the DL.
So that's another guy. So that's another starting pitcher that's been rumored to possibly be getting traded. That now hits.
Yeah,
the,
I mean,
that
I
hits
don't
the
know
shelf.
what they're going to do.
Blake Snell is on the DL as well. He was just put on the shelf for 10 days.
It looks like that's relatively minor. He's just going to take a rest.
No, I
and
understand
miss one
that,
start and then come right
but
back.
the point is though, all these
Never
starting
know, though.
pitchers, all these starting pitchers that are suddenly getting injured. I mean,
Chris Archer's been lights out since coming off the DL as well.
yeah,
Maybe
I mean,
someone will pay
is
for him. Maybe
Tampa-
someone will pay for him. I don't know.
Is Tampa actually going to trade him? Because Tampa just always seems to keep him around.
I'm not really seeing a lot of trades come. When is it? 30th to 31st, the deadline.
31st next Tuesday.
I don't see major trade unless DeGrom goes to the Yankees.
Well, if DeGrom does get traded, I think then the chips are going to start falling. Then you'll see a lot of movement. But I mean, unless some of these teams who are out of it make the decision that they want to try to get a bunch of young players and get out even if they have young controllable pitchers. I mean, I'll give you another example like Berrios on Minnesota. Okay?
But the Twins, they live for a guy like Berrios. Just like the Rays live for a guy like Archer and Snell.
Archer, they're going to have to do something
So
about
they're
though.
gonna-
Because Archer, I think, is now
Yeah,
arbitration eligible.
coming.
So he's going to start making
Which
a lot
why
more
I think he might get dealt. He might be
could.
the wow at the deadline. Like, oh,
Yeah.
no one was talking about that one.
I mean, he's not going to make $2.5 million next year. He's going to be
Oh,
probably.
No.
He's going to make about 8-9
But
million.
the gig's up, as they say, for him in Tampa.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
I
gonna
think
have to get his money, and Tampa never pays anybody.
no. So they're going to
Just like the Twins, they never pay anybody. Once he goes to arbitration, and Snell goes to arbitration, they're not going to be on those teams. They're going to be in New York or Philadelphia or Los Angeles or Boston.
right, or Chicago maybe.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Big market.
Right.
Teams that spend money.
Right, and Detroit when they get good again. But I'll tell you what, after considering all these guys, Rob, right now, F team says Jordan Hicks. Jordan Hicks, he seems to be he's fallen out of favor over in St. Louis. I think Matt Carpenter is now playing first base, isn't he?
Jordan Hicks is a pitcher.
Who's the Hicks that fell out of favor? Oh no, that's Martinez, right?
Jose Martinez.
Jose Martinez.
And Jose Martinez has the potential to mash, but he can't play the field worth a lick.
So
Like,
he's a DH.
horrible.
So he's a DH.
He's a
then.
DH.
Oh, all right.
And since the new manager took over, because Matheny would trot him out there because he could hit, and he would kill them defensively. Now that the Frank just said his name, I forget his name again. He's more of a defensive-oriented manager, and he's been on the bench for the last week.
Yeah, I would think that he's going to get traded. Jordan Hicks is a relief pitcher, isn't he?
Right? He's the guy that throws 100 miles an hour.
He's a reliever, isn't he?
I think of the 5 hardest pitches thrown in the MLB regular season so far, I think he has 4 of them.
Okay.
Like 104, 103 type fastball stuff.
Oh, so he's like a Chapman type. Then he's got to be a reliever then. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
he
not
is.
Yeah, he's not.
I
a
would trade for
starter.
that guy if they're going to put him on the trade
I don't think
market.
I don't think they would. But I mean, what is going on with the Cardinals? Are they going to start moving some guys out of there? I mean, they've got to start thinking about it.
I don't
'cause
know.
That team just doesn't seem. That team just seems to be stuck in neutral.
I mean, I like the guy Mikolos they got from in the offseason, the international signing.
He's done very well.
He's pretty good. Carlos Martinez has the potential, but
He walks a lot of guys.
He walks too many guys, and he's
walks too
always
many
hurt.
guys.
Luke Weaver hasn't progressed.
He's been terrible this
The
year.
Marcell Ozuna trade hasn't worked out at all. I don't think they didn't really give up too much for Ozuna.
No, but he's been a big disappointment for them.
Dexter Fowler is too old, and he's still on the hook for a lot of money.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money on him.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but between them and the Cubs, I guess the Cubs evened it out with Jason Hayward.
I mean,
So,
then you got guys like Tommy Pham. Tommy Pham's a good player. I would hold on to him.
Colton Wong.
Like Colton Wong, I mean, he's okay.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, I mean, but what's going on with that team?
Paul
I mean,
DeJong,
Paul DeJong? He's not a bad player.
but he's like if he's the best player on your team, which
That's
he
a
kind of
problem.
is right now for the Cardinals.
That's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's a nice third option for a team. If he's your third or fourth best hitter, that's probably perfect. But as your top hitter, that's not good enough. That's
100% agree.
Yeah, Dexter Fowler is hitting 174 according to F teams. Yeah, he's just not good. What about some of the guys on the Giants? I mean, I keep looking at them and I keep trying to figure out why they keep trying to hang on. They are not good enough to make the playoffs. I mean, I know that
They're
they
right
made some,
there though.
but they're not good. And based on how Oakland just destroyed them this weekend.
Oakland destroys everyone.
Well, Oakland's been hot, but still, the Giants just got their rear ends kicked by Oakland. I mean, they have to really
Oakland
start
kicks
looking.
everybody's rear end. They're a special team this year. And I got news for you. If your beloved Yankees had to play the A's in the wild card game, I don't care if Severino or DeGrom's pitching, whoever, they're going to be a tough out.
Oh, I agree with you. The Yankees already played them, and you know what?
I would be rooting
They
like
were-
I would
they
be
rooted-
rooting
they
like
had-
hell for Seattle to get that last wild card spot. And
Oh.
I don't think they're going to.
Seattle, the Yankees beat up Seattle when they played them. When Oakland came to town, those 3 games were all tough games. The Yankees won 2 out of 3, but they were tough games. I mean, they really were. So I
Brad-
mean, I know that they're good, and I know if you have to face Sean Manaea in a one game situation, Sean Manaea has faced the Yankees before, and Sean Manaea has shut the Yankees down. So that could be a tough break. And also, the Oakland A's also won 4 out of 6 against Boston. Just in case anybody is wondering about that.
Now, getting back to the National League here, yes, it's easy like us to look at a team like the Giants and say, oh, they're out of it. They're not going to make it. But if you're looking at, these are real people these GMs are trading. It's not
I
just
understand that.
sports talk radio where you can just throw a guy here and throw a guy there and you get these two guys back and everything's fine. It's a lot more difficult than that. You have Milwaukee at 45 losses. They're the number 1 wild card. Atlanta at 43 losses, which they're the 2 wild cards right now. You have Arizona, who's a game back. You have Colorado, who's 1.5 game back. You have the Pittsburgh Pirates, who are 9-1 in their last 10. They've won 9 in a row. They're 51-49. They're 4 games back. They're in the wild card hunt. The St. Louis Cardinals are 1 game above 500.
But
4.5 games out.
But you see all the teams that they have to jump over to get there. That's when you have that many teams ahead.
51-50. The Giants 4.5 games back, and then you have the Nationals at 49-49, 5 games back. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams for 2 spots. Every spot.
And the Giants are number 8 right now, are they not?
The Giants are number 7. The Nationals are number 8.
I
San
mean, those 2
Francisco has a
teams-
half game on.
But when you have to jump over 4 or 5 teams, that's really, really hard to do.
But that's a good week accompanied by a bad week.
Yeah, but it's a bad week by how many teams? I understand what you're saying that they're
But
close.
we were on the air last week saying how the Pirates stink and they're dead, and they won 9 in a row and they're 4 out.
And that was pretty unlikely. I mean, I would give you that, but the Pirates are going to fall apart.
mean,
They're not going to maintain.
I
that.
agree with you, just because they don't have the horses that these teams in the West do. But being 4.5 games out when there's 2 wild cards in the National League, which is by far the less superior league, that doesn't warrant
it's not
a
impossible.
complete dumping of your Bumgarners and McCutcheons and Brandon Belts and Brandon Crawfords of the world. Longoria is about
Not
to
yet.
come back too.
Not yet.
Now, what is it, the 23rd? If they go 0-7 or 0-6 this week, maybe you have something there. But I don't think that's going to happen. They're not that bad. They're also not that good.
Yeah, I don't see them as a playoff team. I think they'd be smart to try to do something.
But erasing a 4.5 game deficit for them to make a wild card when it's only July 23rd and there's 2 wild cards now, not just the one, that's not unheard of. Stranger things have happened in the game of baseball.
You're right. Now the Tampa Bay Rays have taken a 4-1 lead over the Yankees. Boy, it's amazing how the Yankees cannot beat the Rays. Bowers just hit a 3-run home run.
That guy's good.
Kiermaier and Duffy scored.
I like that
wow.
guy. Jack Bauer.
What is going on with the Yankees against Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay? I mean, it's unbelievable that they cannot beat that team there.
Let's kick it around the league here. The Dodgers.
As of right now, I'm actually looking at other scores in the league. We have a no-hitter alert going on right now between the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cincinnati Reds. Daniel Ponce de Leon is having the no-hitter for the Cardinals. It is now the
Ponce de Leon. Is he related to the explorer that discovered the Mississippi River?
I don't even know, but I love that
game.
name. He is pitching his first game, and he's having a no-no so far.
He's not going to throw a no-hitter because Frank just jinxed the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not in St. Louis right now.
Chromo's going to be mad.
Sorry, Chromo. Not trying to jinx him, but
all right. Well, the Dodgers lead the Phillies at the end of the 4th, 4-1. The Twins up big on the Blue Jays, 8-1. Atlanta putting it on the Marlins in the top of the 6th. That's 5-1. The aforementioned Rays up 4-1 on the Yankees. Pittsburgh Pirates doing it again. This time to a very worthy adversary in the Cleveland Indians. They're up 4-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. Padres on top of the Mets, 3-1. St. Louis 1-0 over The Reds, look at that. They even have the no-hitter thing on MLB.com. Is that where you're on?
That's what I'm on
Yeah,
right now. I'm just
that's
switching
how you
in
know.
between a couple games here and there.
Arizona putting up a big number on the Cubs. End of the second, it's 6-0 there. The A's just keep plugging along. They're dominating the Texas Rangers 5-0. Early on, end of 2, Washington tied with Milwaukee 1-1. The Royals, who got their first sweep of the season over the
Wow.
weekend, up 2-0 on the Tigers. The Red Sox and Orioles in a rain delay. Boston up 1-0. Nightcap on MLB Network, the White Sox visit Mike Trout and the Los Angeles Angels. So look at that. The Pirates and the A's, they keep on trucking. Boy, the A's can really hit. I'm rooting for the A's.
They are a pretty darn good team. I'll tell you. I mean, you got to give them credit where credit is due. No question about that.
See, I don't. Then what am I supposed to do? Okay. It's confusing. I mean, Chris with a K. Davis with another home run.
Jeez.
Matt Olson continues. Chapman continues to. I mean, it was Brett Anderson pitched tonight. Another guy. He's got a 5.84 ERA coming into the game, and now he's got a 5-run lead to work with. He's probably going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean,
another win.
Yeah,
and the Pirates and the Indians are now in a delay as well.
Oh, from the weather?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Delay could mean a lot of things, Brad.
Right. No, I understand.
Is it me or the Indians should be talked about as one of the
Indians are a legit team.
You talk about the American League, they talk about the three-headed monster of
It's
New
a
York,
four-headed
New
monster.
York,
Now
Boston, and Houston.
With Hand and Miller's going to be coming
Jose
back.
Ramirez about to hit 50 home runs.
Yeah.
Same with Lindor.
I agree. No,
Encarnacion's doing fine.
They're real good. They are real good. So, I mean,
Corey Dickerson, Marte Polanco, Josh Bell. I mean, it's just a ragtag squad there in Pittsburgh. That's what I'm rooting for. The A's and the Pirates in the Fall Classic.
Ooh.
Well, there you go.
I think I would be the only one watching.
I will watch just to see how it's going to go. It'll be a very interesting series, but we'll see what happens. I will be very entertained by an A's Pirates series.
That would be interesting.
Though I'll probably root for the Moneyball A's, but I don't want to root for the in-state rival. But it'll be a fun one to watch.
I mean, we're not talking about the Steelers here.
Yeah, we're not talking about the Steelers. We're not talking about the Penguins. It's the Pirates.
The Jolly Roger.
The Jolly Roger.
Yep.
The Racing Pierogies. The Pirate Parrot. That beautiful stadium.
Why are the Steelers not paying Le'Veon Bell?
Because they're the Steelers. I think from what I heard.
Because they just want to be big, the big proud Steelers, and prove that they can win with anybody at running back.
And what it looks like is that they pay by position. So it's like I think they don't value the running back position as much as they value like a receiver or a lineman or the quarterback.
Great.
I think the Steelers are playing way too conservative. They got to give Bell his due.
Well, why don't the Eagles just ditch Ajayi after hitting his walk year and bring in Le'Veon Bell?
Ooh.
And just take over the league even more so than they already have.
Yeah. That will be very interesting.
Line up with Wentz and Le'Veon Bell in the same
Bell
backfield.
And Clement. Oh my goodness.
Could they fit him under the cap?
Oh, Howie, we got the best.
Howie,
we got the
Howie
best
the
fucking
pimp.
cap guy ever. Howie he's a magician. He'll make it work.
He is a magician. He is a pimp. He's gonna get.
Is he gonna play? Is he gonna play this year, Bell, or is he threatening to not play?
Who knows? He'll show up.
He's gonna show up at camp, and then he's gonna.
He might show up a week before week one.
He's gonna have himself another year, and then he'll be the highest sought after free agent.
Julio Jones the same way.
Yeah, same with Julio.
He might miss games.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm real surprised that they're messing around with Julio Jones.
I see their point, but Julio Jones is a special player. You
Yeah.
got to make because and
He's
Julio
one of
Jones
the-
is right. He's the after Brandon Cooks got that money from L.A.
Oh, yeah.
What, like last week? I mean that bumps Julio Jones as the 9th highest paid wide receiver.
And he should be making way more than that.
And until these guys get guaranteed contracts, I'm not going to knock anybody for holding out for more money,
How do you like the
especially
contract?
when they deserve it.
How do you like the contract Barkley just got? He's now the 4th highest paid running back in the NFL, and he hasn't carried the ball yet.
Well, isn't that slotted?
Well, he got 4 years, $30 million.
Right, but aren't rookie wages are slotted?
To a point.
Okay, there's still a cap because
No,
it's the
I know. I'm
Bradford-
just.
it's a Sam
Are,
Bradford.
are you
rule.
allowed? Are you? I mean, I've never
There's
heard.
only
of
so much they can pay.
I've never heard of a rookie.
But this is because he's the
running
4th
back.
highest paid running back. Because there's dumb teams like the Steelers that think the running back position doesn't mean shit and won't pay anybody. Because how many running backs are getting big money right now?
Is Elliott getting paid yet? Probably
he's
not.
He's
still
still
on
on the
his
rookie deal.
Okay, so he's not getting any money.
Yeah.
And neither is the guy in the Rams, Gurley. He's not making any money, right?
No, and David Johnson is still on his rookie deal.
Yeah, the problem with running backs is running backs don't last very long.
Right. It's usually like a dropout after 30, and that's it. We saw that with DeMarco Murray when he was on the Titans.
A lot of them
Now
by
he's
the time
retired.
by the time they're 28, they're done because they've just been beaten up. I mean, how many years
All right,
does
I
a
have the
running
list.
back play?
I have the
4 or
list
5
right here
years at
before
the most?
before we go to break. Le'Veon Bell, for all his bitching and moaning, is the highest paid running back in terms of average money per year. He's due to make, it looks like, if I'm reading this right, and contracts are weird in the NFL, so
Yeah.
forgive me if I'm wrong, $14.5 million he's going to. Now, no, because he didn't sign that tender yet.
He did not.
Okay. And then Devontae Freeman is number 2, average of 8.25. He just got himself paid. LaShawn McCoy, which geez, who knows if he's going to be allowed
Right.
to, who the hell knows?
Yeah,
He's making
that's-
just over 8 a year average.
How much is Bell making again?
And then Barkley, 14.5 on an average per year basis.
That's
Obviously,
not bad. That's not bad.
not bad. Of course it's not.
No.
And then Barkley is 4th. He's getting 7.7 on a per year. And then you got McKinnon, Fournette, Lamar Miller, Zeke. Zeke's still on that rookie tier, still making an average of $6 million a year. But a lot of these guys are role players who just were on the free agent, like Deion Lewis, Carlos Hyde just got paid. Duke Johnson got paid last year. Lamar Miller got paid, 2 years ago?
Right.
So, teams aren't really lining up to sign these running backs to big money. But, you watch Le'Veon Bell run the football, and, I love watching him. He's one of my favorite running backs to watch because he'll kind of, lag back
Well, he sits
and
he,
wait for
he
the
waits.
hole to work. And
he
then
waits for his
and
blocking.
then he's just gone.
Yeah, he waits for his blocking. He's very
Well,
smart.
not many running backs are that patient.
No, he's very smart the way he runs the
And
ball.
then, he's good for 50 catches a year out of the backfield.
Probably more. He's got really
be
good
right.
hands.
Could be right.
Now, did Barkley have good hands when he was with Penn State?
Yeah.
He-
Barkley
he
can
did,
catch.
yeah.
He'll catch 50 balls, 60 balls maybe.
Yeah. So listen, he could be the difference for the Giants as far as actually having a real good team or not having a real good team.
So there you go. You heard it here first. Le'Veon Bell to the Eagles next year, unrestricted free agent.
Oh, boy.
Howie,
be
that would be
entertaining.
Howie Houdini.
That would be
he'll
just
ma-
that
he'll
would
make
be
it
just
happen.
that would be just a nightmare.
All right.
What a nightmare having
Sports
him on,
Hounds,
on
break
the
time.
Eagles.
We'll bring it back after this. I will vent my frustrations. I'm disappointed the Phillies didn't land Manny Machado, but I am furious that the Sixers don't have Kawhi Leonard. You'll find out why after the break. A2D Radio. We'll be back right after this.
Hi, folks. Bob Mannery here. You're listening to A2D Radio, real sports talk radio for the fans, by the fans, no agenda. These guys are the best in the business. Hashtag it. No notes.
Welcome back. Sports Hounds taking you till 10 o'clock. BMW Atlantic City Studios. As always, brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, certified accountants, Gibson Mayer LLC.com. Now exclusively on YouTube for the final hour. Got the Scanzano Sports poll question cooking. Phillies, trade deadline. What do they need? I want to talk about the Sixers now because I am furious, like blood-boiling angry that Kawhi Leonard is not on this team.
He's pissed.
It blows my mind. And here's why it's going to – because here's what's going to happen with the Sixers. I can already see it happening now. Is we're going to look up in 6-7 years, and Simmons and Embiid are going to be almost 30, and we're going to be looking around with our dicks in our hand with no championships being, what happened? What happened? We didn't win anything. We trusted the process for all these years. We got no rings. You get Kawhi Leonard, you're going to the finals. It's a no-brainer. Sarge, I can find glue guys. They grow on trees. Glue guys like Sarge.
It's not over yet.
Fultz hasn't.
With regard to him,
cool. And he's going to go play with LeBron or sign with the Clippers because he marches to the beat of a different drum. Why do you let Fultz hold up that deal or Sarge hold up that deal?
Yeah, but they got DeMar DeRozan.
It's ridiculous.
But they got DeMar DeRozan.
That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Think like winners. Be a winner.
But DeMar,
be a winner.
Wait a minute.
Go to the champion.
DeMar,
go to the championship.
Rob, you're giving up everything for 1 year,
cool.
6 months.
Just like the
for
Pacers,
what? For a guy who doesn't want to be there?
Just like the Thunder did when they got Paul George. Just signed for $4,137. He's been a Laker for the last 5 years.
Okay, this guy didn't. Paul George didn't say, "Oh, I'm definitely going to L.A." Kawhi Leonard quit on the greatest coach of all time in our generation. Okay, that's real. That's fucking factual. He quit on the guy. Okay, listen, Kawhi before the quit job, I'm all about it. But I'm not about a guy who said, "I'm not going anywhere but L.A. next year." He made it clear as day. Now, that's his fault for hurting his market, but I don't want that guy. I'm not giving up a guy who's 20 years old with a chance to be a star in this league for a guy who's a crumb and a quitter.
A star.
You want to put money on it?
A star.
How much you want to put on it?
Because
you guys are all panicking.
Agree.
You guys are all panicking
agree.
for no reason. Every one of you. And it's nonsense. It's crazy. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. You got generational talent on this team, and you're willing to just ship it all off.
You have two. You need three. No, I'm not.
Who says he's not third?
There's two generational
You're guaranteeing
talented
he's not
players.
third. You're guaranteeing it before you seen him play 14 games without a jumper and be able to be elusive and get to the rack.
And
so you're giving up on it.
I don't bury Fultz like other people on this station.
You're saying that
I would trade him in 5 seconds for Kawhi Leonard.
Who's saying that? Okay? Real quick. You can get Fultz, or you can get Fultz, and Sarich, or one of the two, or you can get DeMar DeRozan. What's the better deal for you?
You can hold on to one of those guys. If they want,
you're missing what Toronto gave up. Toronto gave up their best player. Okay.
Right, and that's a phenomenal job by the Spurs front office to
be able to land that player.
Get that return. I think the Spurs are going to be a top 4 seed next year in the West.
Listen, you can't. What you can't do, all right, is you cannot. You trusted it this long. Okay, you dealt with guys sitting out a year, right? And Markel's pretty much the same thing. You dealt with all these guys sitting out. They built a core group of guys together, right? Just like the Warriors did.
Okay.
Because let's look at it. It's real similar built in terms of my young core, and somebody will come over time. Why does it have to be?
Right.
Why does it have to be now?
Always next year. It's always going to be next year.
But what are you
process.
panicking about?
I'm not panicking.
No, not you. But I hear a lot of panic. So excuse me for getting fired up because I hear too much panic.
But I am fired up because you had a coach who's now the GM that told me in his exit interview that you needed a superstar to contend. You struck out star hunting. The Boston Celtics lost 0 games on purpose over the last 5 years. They, at Danny Ainge, out-processed the process.
You can say that. You're quick to make a judgment on 20-year-old kids saying that they were out-processed. I mean, that's just quick judgment. And you guys can live in the moment like that and not look at the future of your basketball organization. That's fine.
When is it not going to be about 2-3 years down the road and be about right fucking now? When?
It is right now.
It's not, because Kawhi Leonard's not here. It's not about now.
Why is it based on a crumb?
So,
why is it based on a guy who quit?
He's a crumb who's a top 3 player in the league. Rob,
I love you, brother. You got to be on the court to be top 3 in this league. There's 10 guys I'll take over now.
Kawhi Leonard will be a first-team All-NBA player.
How much you want to put on
Toronto?
He ain't going to Toronto, brother.
Whatever you
He's
want.
getting shipped in 60 days, and if you don't believe that, you don't see the bigger picture.
Hopefully the Sixers get him in 60 days.
Absolutely not. He's going to L.A. He's getting shipped, and you know it. You know it, because that 60 days runs out before the start of the season.
I'm rolling the fucking dice, getting him in the building, seeing if I can convince him to stay, like the Thunder convinced Paul George to stay.
If you're talking about the Phillies and Machado, I'll buy into that. But I can't buy into it for a quitter.
I'm disappointed about that, but the Phillies farm system fucking stinks.
Well, I mean, we can agree more on the Machado because I agree with
that's
go all in
shit.
for Manny.
Now that I'm all fucking worked up again, that's horseshit too.
I can't base this a loss.
May I interrupt for one moment?
Please, it's your show.
Well,
I heard bad Sixer stuff and I got fired up.
Hoskins just hit a 3-run home run, so you're back to 4-4. I just thought
4-4. Wow.
Before
okay.
I just thought so that you guys could just calm down for 2 seconds.
I did say last week.
You can resume now.
I love this. By the way,
I did say last week that I thought the Phillies were going to win the East, even if they didn't get Machado, because I do think they're going to add something here or there. But I mean, just answer me this before we just scream each other. When is this process going to be not about 2, 3, 4 years down the line and about right now?
Now. And it doesn't have to.
Clearly not.
It doesn't. Well, clearly not. Clearly, yes.
Because Kawhi Leonard's not here.
Listen, it's not, to me, this process isn't a failure because I didn't get Kawhi Leonard.
I didn't say that.
I'm speaking in generalities. Right. It's not a failure because I didn't get Kawhi Leonard.
There's definitely people in the Real Talk group that think that.
Well, and listen, for the people who think it's a failure, they should go jump off the bridge. If you're going to base, not you, if you're going to base the process off of Kawhi Leonard and us not getting him, which means the process is ruined, it's crazy. This team won 52 basketball games.
It's not ruined, but they missed an opportunity.
You can look at it like that. I look at it as like, you know what? I cannot give up what you want for a guy who's told me he doesn't want to play anywhere but L.A. I mean, that's to me, that's tough to do.
It's not necessarily true. There were reports that he would consider signing an extension with the only.
No, there's also reports that Manny Machado and the Phillies had a handshake agreement with the Orioles. You know what I mean? So I could buy into that.
You know what a handshake deal means?
Yeah, obviously we saw what that is.
Yeah, because the Orioles were genius because they told everyone that they had a handshake deal with the Phillies, and then they called L.A. because they have a better farm system than the Phillies, and were like, this is what they're giving us, giving them better.
I'll tell you where my fire comes from walking in this room.
And the Dodgers fucking have balls because they said they don't care if they sign Manny Machado for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
My anger isn't with you. My anger is with a guy who does a show here on Saturdays that is considering the process a freaking failure, is considering us going backwards. That's crazy to me. That's where my fire comes from because that makes zero sense to me.
Do you think
this team's gotten better? And I'm not gonna let him on Saturdays freaking run our fans out of here, right? I'm going to be real. I'm not going to let him run our fans out of here that love listening to our shows here because of moronic comments. I can't let that happen. That's not you, but that's where my fire comes.
I didn't say the process was
not you.
A failure. I understand, but the process is not a failure.
We're arguing something different. We're arguing Kawhi. That's all we're arguing.
An opportunity was missed to get a top 3 player in the league.
Let me ask you a question. And I'll leave you with this, right? If Embiid, Simmons,
nice.
We're up. Nice. Look at us. We get a little heated about something. We get upset, and good things happen. Welcome to Philly.
Yeah.
You guys want to fight a little more often for
your
Well, we haven't argued.
You gotta have your headset on.
We haven't yelled and screamed about anything, so this is good.
Can you guys have an argument that the Yankees can actually win a game in Tampa Bay?
No.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit. Grown-ups are talking. Stop. But let me ask you this.
God, I really.
Real quick. So Embiid, Simmons,
yes,
Markelle, Dario. Do you see growth from all of them this year?
I have to see from Fultz.
Okay, but the other three. Let's just go with the other
Of
three.
course.
All right,
Of
so
course. But they're not a better team. The team that lost to Boston in 5, that game on whatever it was, May, whatever it was, they lost Bellinelli and Ilyasova, and they replaced them with Zaire Smith and what? I don't think they're a better team than they were.
well, Wilson Chandler's better than the both of them in terms of.
Okay.
In terms of that series, because them two got exposed in that series. That was the sad part about that. But listen, you got to factor something in that nobody thinks about. I understand we won 52 games. We ain't trying to get knocked out against the Celtics. We hate the Celtics. But we got to remember something. This was our first dance. They've been dancing. Everybody but Tatum.
Who? Rozier wasn't dancing.
That whole
Jaylen
team was in the
Brown's
Eastern
not
Conference
dancing.
Final the year before. And Jaylen Brown was in the Eastern Conference Finals. That whole team was in the Eastern Conference Finals. The entire team. The core of their team was in the Eastern Conference Finals the year before against Cleveland. So they've been there. They've tasted it. Listen, I live in the moment too. I ain't trying to lose 5 to the Celtics, but I also have to look at it. It's our first time in the dance. You usually don't go win the whole thing or get to the finals your first time. It's usually a learning experience on how playoff basketball is. I gotta trust that I believe so much in Embiid and I believe that much in Simmons that them two games are going to go to the next level. And I have to, Rob, as much as some of us might not like to, I got to believe in Fultz until after 82 games he tells me otherwise. That's it. I need a full season to say, okay, you're a bust or you can play. Now, this guy got a triple-double and for 14 games showed he can do some things without a jumper. So if all reports are true that his stuff's clean and it looks good and he's going to be a problem, I'm just saying that with the young kids, and I know, dude, we want to win now. We're in the business of winning now. None of us want to freaking wait. And I understand there was an opportunity, but I'm more on the side we lost on an opportunity with Manny Machado with a big opportunity.
But I'm fine with
than
that
Kawhi.
because if you look at it for real, the Dodgers' young players are better than the Phillies' young players. Donis Medina is the number 2 prospect in the Phillies farm system. He's got a 4.92 ERA in the high A ball.
And the prospect they got hit 2 home runs in a futures game as the deal's being talked about. So, of course,
all those guys raking in double.
You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, my God, look at this guy. He just hit 2 homers. That's our guy. I love you guys. I just wanted to – I heard Sixers.
Cool. We're cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
if we don't yell and scream, we ain't cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
if we're not stirring the pot, we're not doing our
dude,
job.
if we don't yell and scream and get fired up about this shit, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's agree, disagree. It's excitement.
Let's see how many comments we missed.
No, I love you, but but I'm telling you where my comments are consistently directed at when I talk Sixers. It's Kyle. It's Nitro Freak, and if he's listening, he knows it. Because I directed all at him because he's going to be 100% wrong, and he's going to. And I told him if the Sixers, as healthy, aren't better than they were last year, I will give him A2D radio. Now he's like, well, that's not fair. You can't say if healthy. Absolutely, I can say if healthy. Like if Embiid goes out, they're not going to be better than they were last year.
It is
but
a little bit
Well,
of a
no.
if the core is healthy, the 3
who's the core?
Joe, Ben, and Dario. I need them to be healthy. Just leave Fultz out of it. But if them 3 are healthy and they're not a better team, then I don't know what the hell I'm ever talking
They
about.
should be a better team.
Right,
They're
Rob?
young.
I mean, Brad, right?
They're young. I mean, they're going to
So
get
what?
better.
What do you think? 60 games next year for the Sixers?
No,
No?
I mean,
Yes?
say 56. It's just
That's asking a lot.
just say 56. They won
That's a
52.
that's a tough division they're in, though.
It is. Now, what do you think? I mean, I would rather hear a guy who's outside of it than us two animals.
I think they're a legitimate 55-win team next year.
And that's right about where
But
I have
I
it.
think Toronto is going to be really good, and I think Boston's going to be really good, and then the rest of the conference is going to absolutely stink.
Well, I agree there,
The
yeah.
Eastern Conference. I mean, you have 3 really, really good teams, and the rest of the conference, God only
But,
knows. But
you know, you get an opportunity to add a top 3 player. That Warriors party out there, their paydays are coming, and not all of them are going to. Draymond Green
Look,
not paying
next
taking
season.
any type
This
of
is
take
their
cut
last.
to stay there.
This is their last.
And neither is Klay Thompson.
This is the last season for that
party's
group.
going to end. Boogie
Yeah.
is going to play 1 year there and get a max contract from someone. Maybe your Knicks will give him a max contract.
But look,
Someone will give him a max contract.
They're not gonna give
So
him
we
a
didn't
max
get the guy we
contract.
wanted this year, right? Now let's say hypothetically we go, say we beat Boston or Toronto, whatever. Just say we get to the finals, right? We just get there. Okay, we're going to lose to whoever, right? Golden State.
That's asking a lot to beat them, but it could happen.
No, just say we get
The
there
only-
and not
here's-
beat them.
here's-
Say
Tom,
we lose, but you
here's the
don't
problem.
see somebody coming
Here's
the following year.
Here's the problem this year about you trying to get to the
But, like,
finals.
Jimmy Butler does nothing
The-
for me.
Not me either.
They still have to beat the Celtics, and the Celtics didn't even have Kyrie last year in the playoffs, or Hayward. And I mean, you're asking a lot to try to beat that team when they didn't have those 2 players.
No, you absolutely are. But if my big man is who I think he is and is going to become, and my point guard develops a jumper.
Listen, I'll give you the Bill Russell syndrome with Embiid. He could be Bill Russell. He could very easily be Bill Russell. He's definitely defensively, he's pretty close. Offensively, he's better than Bill Russell. Defensively, he's getting there. If he can be Bill Russell defensively, then it doesn't matter who the other team has. Nobody's going in the lane. So everybody's going to have to shoot outside shots, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to guard everybody because nobody's going to go down the lane with him there.
I just had to talk the big dog off a cliff. Yeah, I mean, I had to talk him off a cliff because we
Listen,
could.
I wish my team had a couple of real good young players like what you have right now. My team has my best player is injured, and my second best player is probably amongst the most overpaid players in the league, Mr. Hardaway.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Hardaway, but he's still way overpaid for what he does.
Tell your boy Severino.
But you see where I'm going with it, though? I don't say you're wrong.
Severino had a tough outing again.
Missed a huge opportunity.
Just put it like this.
That puts more.
I would be right over there on your shoulders, like, yeah, with signs, like, you're 100% right. If it wasn't the weird situation that comes with him. That's it. If it was, just take away all the extras. Take away wanting to go to L.A. Take away supposedly quitting on Pop, right, and all the stuff that went on there. Take all that out of the equation. Then it's a no question about it, a lost opportunity. But the second you put in, I only want to play for L.A., right or wrong, true or not true, whatever it is. You know, you saw what happened last year in San Antonio. Do you know who his doctors were?
Where is L.A. getting the money to get him?
No.
Do you know who his doctors were? His doctors were Sixers doctors. His doctors ended up being Sixers doctors.
Where are they getting? Where is LA getting the money to get him to? When they're paying Bron.
I don't know that, but what I do know is
okay. Well, they still have to clear enough cap space to get another max player because that guy's going to want his money.
He might sign with the Clippers.
It could be the Clippers. I was going to say that, Rob.
He's a different dude. He doesn't care about all that stuff.
He's going to sign with the Clippers.
He could.
You know, ESPN, the pot stirring bullshit that they're always lying. He said he wanted to play in L.A. He said he either wanted to play with the Lakers or the Clippers. And then ESPN and all the major media outlets just took the Lakers and just ran.
Assumed it was just the Lakers, yeah. But he could easily be the Clippers. And don't be surprised. Now, I don't think they have the assets to go get him from Toronto. But like Wilson was saying yesterday, and it makes sense. He's like, you know, I see them bringing him in to ship him in 60 days.
Yeah, but they could get him next year as a free agent.
They could, or they could be in knowing that, you know, how much more, you know, we signed LeBron to X amount of years. Let's go get it now when we can and give up some of our young talent to go get it. But I'm just saying, like.
But it's not the young talent. Where are the Lakers getting the money on their cap?
Well, that if you trade away pieces to match the money, then it's going right there.
Then you have LeBron and Kawhi.
Then you have no bench and all that stuff. I get all that. I'm just saying.
Then you're going to be the Miami Heat with no bench, and that worked well to get to the finals, but they only won 2.
We're talking about a guy who hasn't been healthy since Zaza 2 years ago.
We don't really know if he's healthy or not last year.
We don't know, and we don't know anything that's going on with him.
He was being a major douche, so you don't know what
that's
the
my
deal
thing.
was.
Rob, anybody else? I'm on board with you.
And I hear
you make sense.
I hear what
anybody
you're
else.
I 100% hear what you're saying. I'm rolling the dice from the Sixers.
I like your style. I ain't mad at you.
I'm rolling the dice.
I mean,
I'm
what
trying
are we
to
here?
win.
We're fucking here to have opinions. If we don't have different opinions, what the hell are we doing?
I'm trying to.
I mean,
yeah,
listen,
Brett Brown. He obviously trusts the doctors. It's a good city, good
but at least,
fans.
at least I'm having an intellectual conversation with you.
Why can't
than
Toronto?
Some people, you know what I mean?
And then
why can't the Sixers do a trade with Toronto and bring him over?
They could.
I guess they could after the 60.
Keep in mind, Toronto wanted to get rid of DeRozan's contract.
Yeah.
That was what that trade was all about. I don't know what the heck happened with DeRozan in Toronto, but Toronto wanted him off the team. They wanted to get rid of that contract. I don't know what their plan is, but they want to get him off. They wanted to get his contract off the team. Maybe they want to try to regroup and try to get in on the action next year because there's a bunch of real good players coming next year.
If he was going to take an extension from us, like before he went to Toronto, if we could get him in a sign and trade, then I'm all in. Who do you want besides Ben and Joe? Who do you want, right? Because then I'm all open for business. But when I can't get that, and the difference with Machado is Machado didn't come out and say that, oh, I'm going to the Yankees only, or I'm going to whatever. The reason the Phillies missed the boat is because you went from having him in your building, like you were talking about Kawhi. It's the same thing. You had a chance to have him in your building and get a deal done. So you went from the number 1 team that could be able to sign him, and you dropped down to 4 or 5 now in the offseason. Because don't think that the letters on your chest ain't coming for him, okay? Don't think. Now, the Red Sox.
That's where he's going.
He hates the Red
He's
Sox.
going to the
He hates the
Yankees.
Red Sox, but money talks, so you got to always put him in.
I don't think he's going to the Red Sox.
I doubt it.
I think he's
But
either going to be a
the
Yankee or a
Dodgers,
Dodger next year.
The Dodgers. So think about the teams.
Well, let me ask you a question with the Dodgers. Okay, you got Seager at short. They're going to trade Justin Turner, I guess, right?
Well,
He's
what
34.
I think they do is move Seager to second because of the Tommy John. So you give him a year with the easier throw.
It's an ACL.
Okay.
Is it an
I
ACL?
thought.
I thought Sweep said last night it was Tommy John.
I thought.
Okay, well,
No.
if he
But whatever.
plays,
Whatever.
fine.
Semantics, but you
Yeah.
move him to second.
listen,
and you move
that's
Machado.
what the Yankees did the same thing with Gleyber Torres. That's why he's playing second because if he had Tommy John.
Yeah,
So he's playing second. And
That wasn't
does
his
it look
throw.
like it?
It wasn't his throwing shoulder. It was
Yeah, you're right. It was in his
his
throwing shoulder. Yeah, you're right.
But like
You're
anybody
right.
who thinks like the Yankees won't go in because they have Didi is crazy. Like of course they're it's the
No,
top
they're-
three,
no,
top
they'll-
5 player in
Manny
baseball.
Machado, if you look at the analytics,
They'll
I
get
hate
Manny-
analytics.
they'll
He's
get
not that good of
Manny.
a shortstop.
They
He's
will
not
get
that good of a
Manny.
defensive shortstop. He's better at
They
third
will get
base.
Manny, and they will pay him, and he'll go to third, just like
Right.
A-Rod did.
And they're
Yeah.
going to give up Andahor and a bunch of prospects for DeGrom.
And what did he say, Brad? What did he say? I have no problem going to play third in the right situation. You know what I mean? Like he came out and
Well, yeah,
he came
yeah,
out clear as day and said it.
Yeah, A-Rod didn't care. A-Rod wanted to go to New York.
We
so
talked about it in the
that's-
first half.
His best friend plays for the Yankees. I can't think of the name, but Machado's best friend's a Yankee. I don't even know who the hell it is.
He's going to tell the
It might be
Orioles.
Torres.
He's going to the Orioles with
Yeah, I think it is
35
Torres.
games under 500. He's going to say, "What are the Orioles going to say? No, you can't play shortstop."
You can't do that when the team's trying to deal.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm
Yeah.
only going to play one
just
position.
You
wants
can
his
play
money.
wherever you want. You can play wherever you want. We just want to get
He
whatever
just wants
we
to.
can for
He
him.
just wanted to show he could do shortstop on a shit team to get his money.
But I love it. I love
Right.
the
He's
the
gonna get
Phillies.
his
Like
money
6
anyway.
toes Nolan Ryan. He's untouchable. Like,
Oh, don't he? Oh,
I could take a boat to
Jesus.
Dominican and find 25 dudes just like him that
He's
will throw
pitching.
95 or higher. You
He's-
know what I mean?
Yeah,
Pedro
well-
Martin, he doesn't throw that hard.
No, and he's 6 foot. Like Mike Parker said last
Yeah.
night, he's like 6 foot, $170.
Yeah.
Like he's not like, I got to
Every
see
time-
him throw more to see how much body action he's getting involved in it or how much arm he's
Listen,
got.
he might actually be a real good pitcher.
Could be.
You don't know. I mean, I think it would take a lot more. It's going to take a
No,
lot
he
more
had
than
one
him.
start. He had one start in fucking Double A and got smoked. And he went back to A-ball, and now he's hurt again.
Oh,
The only
that's not
guy,
good.
the only guy you can look at the
That's
deal
not
and
good.
say, you know what? Okay, like is Hazley's hitting the cover off the ball, right? Nah.
Get him out.
But you know how I feel. I
out.
mean, you've heard me talk about it, and I'll end you guys with this. Like you've heard me talk about it. If I can trade prospects for 26 or under, proven major league ball players,
Hall
Oh
of Famer.
yeah.
where can
Manny
Forget
and
about-
Manny
forget
and,
about
Manny
proving.
and Bryce are both that age.
Manny is going to Cooperstown.
exactly, and
Bryce might go too.
what is this team missing essentially? That other bat in the middle of the lineup.
Power.
And a guy like a top 5 player in baseball, you can't go wrong. But guess what? Expectations change. And when you're in first place, 8 games away from the deadline, you can't
Who
just
says-
go status quo.
Who says they can't get Bryce Harper next year?
Oh, listen, the way Mac, they're going to open up their wallets, and it's about time.
They're gonna get somebody next year. So they're gonna get an impact player. It may
Not-
not be exactly the guy you want, but they're gonna get an impact player.
I
Next
believe
year
it.
is loaded as far as hitters are concerned. There's a
it's-
lot of good hitters.
Same thing in the
available
NBA,
next
Rob.
year.
Next year's free agent class is a lot deeper than this one was, where this one was like really top heavy. You had your LeBron, whatever. But next year you're going to
By
be.
the way,
Yeah,
you heard it
you'll
here
get
first.
You'll get a dime. You could add
Kyrie
a
Irving
quarter.
will be a Knick next year.
I believe I'm right on board with that. I believe he will be.
But
Mark my words. Kyrie
you had
loves
3
New York and he wants to play there.
And you know who else might be?
He's
in
not
that?
going to be, and he's not going to play
and they'll
for
get
Brooklyn.
Boogie.
You know who else? Jimmy Butler. I
Jimmy
can see
Butler.
Yeah, I've heard that too because
Jimmy
they're
Butler,
friends.
he does nothing for me.
I like
mean,
his
he just
toughness, but I
doesn't.
agree
But
with you.
I would take
I
Butler
agree with
and
you, Rob.
Kyrie on
Carry
the,
a
I would
team?
take Butler.
No, he's not a
and Kyrie.
carrier. He's not a
Listen,
carrier.
Butler, Porzingis, and Kyrie on the same team. That would be a good team.
But like,
You make me nervous.
there were 3.
You know what I
That'd be a
mean?
good-
You make
that'd
me
be a good
nervous.
team.
I'll-
If
there were
we-
3 quarters available. Now you're gonna have 5 dimes next offseason. Would you rather pick from 3 quarters, or would you rather pick 5 dimes?
Well, when I
You
have
5
quarters,
teams. You have 2 quarters. It's pretty clear that you need 3
Durant,
max
Durant
players.
is also going to be a free
Durant's
agent.
never
next year.
gonna
the
leave.
third. Listen, the
Durant's
third's
never gonna
coming.
leave Golden State because he's a pussy.
The third's
I don't know
coming.
about
Dude, he's
that.
a pussy. But the third is coming. The third's coming this year.
okay.
If
But
what is
let's
the process?
accelerate the process.
I know.
Let's put
I'm
the
ru-
foot. Let's put NASCAR fucking Daytona 500. Put your goddamn foot on the grass and get me a fucking championship.
All right, what happens?
Let's go.
If he comes out and dropping 20 a night and he's the guy we thought he could be.
Who?
Say Fultz, okay?
Okay.
All right? Then the conversation drastically changes where you're like, oh, wow, I'm glad we kept him.
I mean, my last memory of Markelle Fultz was losing his minutes to an undrafted free agent, T.J. McConnell.
Well, that's
So
because of the
not-
situation. That's because of the
Okay,
spot.
there's absolutely no fucking way a number one
Is this our first
overall
time?
pick.
Is this our
should
first
be
time watching this
losing-
team? And watching this organization the way
A
they go about
number
their
one overall
business?
pick should not lose minutes to an undrafted free agent.
What have we learned from the process? Every guy is going to sit out their rookie year for whatever reason. As soon as something small goes wrong, we're going to shut you down, right? And that's,
Those days are
they are over. Now they're over. Listen,
But-
he's put on 20 pounds of muscle. He's bigger. He's stronger. All right.
I know, he's
Joel's
getting
all over his ass about working out. I mean, you see the message like Joel hitting him like once he fired the other shooting coach and then went and got the guru. I'm just saying, Rob, I don't disagree with you.
He forgot how to play basketball.
But
From
just-
the Vegas Summer League
Let's
to
just hope.
opening night. He
Let's just
forgot how
hope.
to play basketball.
All we got is hope because we're not signing anybody now. So we got to hope he's the guy.
Keep hope alive.
I love you. Great talk.
Good talk.
I was just gonna.
What's up with your boy Severino? He stinks tonight.
I was gonna come through the front.
He had-
I was gonna go that way. And I
No,
said, let me
never-
say hi to the guys.
Never
let me
come,
say
never,
hi.
never
I
go
don't-
through the front.
I was like, I don't want to
I
bother
want you
him.
coming in right here.
I don't wanna bother him.
every time.
Boy,
All my
Severino.
comments,
Bother us.
everything I said was directed at Kyle, Nitro Freak, Meager.
It's not a.
I love.
you know,
I love taking shots.
Maybe
of him.
maybe once the fall comes around, you go through the front because we'll have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, true. We'll have a lot to talk about. In the
Yeah.
Wow.
Come on through the back during the summer.
6
Come on
runs.
in. Stop in.
6 runs,
Yeah.
You gotta
11
fill time in the
hits.
summer.
Yeah.
No walks,
you, boys.
8
See ya.
strikeouts. Wow. He had a rough night tonight.
6 earned. You guys need
6
Jacob
earned
DeGrom
runs.
or you're not winning anything. You'll lose. You might lose to the A's in the wild card game.
Oh, I don't know about that.
What is it? Could have snake.
Tom Arnone, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I just don't get this.
Godfather.
I don't get the Yankee Tampa Bay thing. I just it's always been like that. They just can't win in Tampa Bay.
But you're not. I'd be
It's
nervous.
been like
I'd
this.
be nervous if I were the Yankees playing the A's in the wild card game with no pitching. No pitching.
Well, I listen. Severino has a bad game. I wouldn't get too too pumped up over that. He made a mistake. He made a mistake to Bowers. Boone shouldn't have left him in an extra inning after he got
so here we
whacked.
go. It's Aaron Boone's fault now.
Well, Boone has been very bad this year. But look, you know what? It's not all him. The players have to also execute too.
I do want to give a New York team prop. The Giants signing Connor Barwin today. That's
That
a
was
good
nice
sign. That's
move.
a good signing.
That was a
Great
nice
signing.
move.
I've been
I was-
burying the Giants for trying to play a 3-4 defense without 3-4 personnel.
Surprising,
Connor Barwin-
surprising signing that he went to the Giants.
See, I love that. The guy needs a fucking job.
He needs a job. And
What's he
and
gonna
you know,
say?
You know, for
no, I'm
years
not
he
gonna
wanted
take
it.
your millions of dollars
Right.
because I played for the Eagles once upon a time. Like, get real.
Right.
But the Giants have signed Eagles before.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
Giants
like
have signed
it's not like
Eagles.
there hasn't
Yeah.
been Eagles.
The Eagles have signed Giants. The Giants have
Exactly.
signed Eagles. The Cowboys have signed Redskins. The Redskins have signed Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, they need jobs.
They all listen. Once it gets to a point where these guys, it's the middle. Where training camp is around the corner, and preseason games are around the corner, and they don't have jobs.
Yeah.
They're going to go with whoever's willing to pay them.
Jobs.
my
Don't
goodness.
you
Yeah.
listen to Trump, man?
I thought
jobs.
Yeah.
Need a job.
That's Trump's my boy.
Wow,
You know
so,
that.
so many things happening in the comments when Tom came in. Starting
catch
all the way from. Oh, geez. Before we went to
He spilled the
break.
pot, didn't he?
Yeah, he stirred the pot. It all worked out. They were talking about. I know F Teams was talking about his Blazers. I
Mike
know
Parker.
Ryan
So
Brodo
apparently-
into the chat. Mike Parker.
Apparently, Seager did have Tommy John surgery.
He did.
So I thought he ACL. Whatever. Semantics, like Tom said.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Where do we start? Did
Yeah,
What did,
so
did,
many
did everyone,
things.
did everyone bury me?
Nope. Nobody got
nah,
buried.
nobody buried you. They don't bury you the way they bury me
Well,
every
you
time I'm
just, you,
Yeah,
you-
no bearings here.
You're just like the New York whipping boy.
Though Ryan Brodo
that's
did
okay.
love
No,
your.
they actually like
he
to
did
bury
love your
Kyle.
Daytona 500 reference.
Yeah, I mean, put the
He
foot
loved
on the
it.
gas. Let's
yeah,
go.
let's go.
Let's go win. I love how, like, it's just the mentality. It's just off in my mind. Remember after the Super Bowl in February and the Sixers were winning 20 games in a row? City of Champions, City of Champions.
That was
now
great.
you have now you have a chant like, first of all, you're not the City of Champions. I've
Right.
won championships since 08. sorry to be the bearer of bad news there, but that's
well, if you
that's
count some
fucking
Villanova titles, but
okay. But
Yeah, but that's
everyone,
college basketball.
most
That's not
people in
really-
Philadelphia. I have a shirt on right now for
Yeah.
Villanova. Actually, I love Villanova. I love Jay Wright. I think they play the game the right way. I consider them a Philly team, but
yeah,
most people in the city think they're mainline snobs and vote for Phil Martelli at St. Joe or
Right.
Temple.
or
Which is fine.
or Drexel or
Yeah,
LaSalle
but Drex,
or
they,
Penn.
they stink.
Yeah,
They stink. Penn's got a nice program though.
yeah, they got a good program.
But
Gotta love the Palestra.
like, you go from the city of champions to like, holy shit, I can't trade this 19-year-old for a Hall of Famer, or holy shit, I can't acquire a top 3 player in the NBA. Like, you went from city of champions to boasting your chest to being scared little pussycats.
Yeah.
So Mike wants to take it easy on me tonight. Mike, what is it that you want to harass me about? The Yankees losing again in Tampa Bay? I'm used to it, Mike. They don't win in Tampa Bay. They haven't won in Tampa Bay since that stupid stadium was put up. So I mean, it is what it is. Okay, should they be playing better in Tampa Bay? Yeah, they should be. But what are you going to do? Severino did not have a great game tonight.
Yeah.
It happens.
So many things happened.
so many things happen.
yeah.
Boston never loses. I mean,
Boston never loses.
Boston
Look,
never loses. We're
the
27.
comments have been going off.
7-0 Pirates and the Indians.
Yeah.
We talked last week, said they had no chance. They're about to win their 10th game in a row.
Who, the Pirates?
Yeah, in Cleveland. So you want to look at the Giants 4.5 out. You want to look at the Nationals 5 games out in the NL wild card. They're not out of it. They're
Rob,
not.
It's baseball. Anything can happen in baseball. We know that. And I never would have thought in a million years the Pirates would do that. Didn't the Pirates just run Milwaukee out of town and completely ruin?
I don't know who they played before
their
the
dreams.
All-Star break.
Milwaukee.
But they beat the Reds.
They swept a 5-game series against Milwaukee. That started it.
You're right.
That started Milwaukee's
Then
down. Then they
and
clobbered the
Milwaukee's
Reds.
not really playing that good. And then they clobbered the Reds for 3. That's 8. So I guess they won a game before that.
Yeah, and then now the fact that they're running Cleveland out of town. I mean that's amazing.
Look at that. Carlos Santana 1 for 3 tonight, has his average up 1 point to 210.
Woohoo!
Listen, you'll take that if Carlos Santana has over 300 on base percentage.
It's 353.
353.
Yeah.
Well,
But
then
I don't know. If I'm paying a
Wait,
guy
it's
$20 million
$353.
for the next 3 years, taking my best player out of his natural position, you got to give me a little more than 210 and 50. You got to give me a little more. I need a little more than that. I need a 250 average, 260 average with that. $20 million a year. That's a lot of money. It was such an analytic signing because he gets on base and doesn't strike out.
the pot's getting a little thicker in Tampa Bay. The Yankees now have the bases loaded and 1 out, and
Oh, boy.
Stanton is up.
Well, Judge was just up with no out, so I guess he struck out.
Yeah.
No, Judge is on. Judge walked.
Okay.
So
Let's
the
see.
bases are loaded with 1 out, and Stanton is now up. So
This is gonna be fun.
well, we'll see. If Stanton does hit a home run, that would obviously tie the game and
Yeah.
change things
Hey,
around.
maybe they'll win something in Tampa Bay. There we
I'll
go.
tell you what.
Well, the
No, they'll
Yankees-
hit another. Somebody will hit a ball. He'll hit a ball off the stupid speaker,
yeah,
and somebody
oh,
will catch
yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
The
like they
great
did
thing
last
about
time.
the Yankees is they're never out of it, and they have one of the best bullpens in baseball. With Chapman at the back, Betances is cooking.
Although Chapman, boy, that was a memorable bad outing on Saturday. Do you know he
Well,
came
I mean,
in
come
Saturday
on.
threw 16 balls and 3 strikes in 19 pitches. Not one of his and of all
Well,
people,
I mean, come on.
Chasen Shreve bailed him out. Talk about a
Good
miracle.
work. He was rested from the All-Star break. Chapman
Chasen Shreve came
Chapman
in.
made the All-Star game. I don't remember him
Yeah.
pitching.
No, he didn't. They held him out because of his knee, because of the
It is now 4-7,
7-4.
7-4.
So what did he do? Get a sacrifice fly?
Didi grounds out, and it
Okay.
just-
All
yeah.
right. So Didi
Neil
grounded
Walker
out. Now-
just scored.
Okay, so Stanton's up now with 2nd and 3rd.
Yep, and they are having a pitching change right now.
Yeah, I'll bet they are. They're not.
Or,
gonna have
or
a
excuse
lefty.
me, a mound visit.
Okay, well, because a lefty pitching to Stanton, that would be really dumb.
Yep,
You think they'll walk Stanton intentionally and pitch to Sanchez again?
And then
probably.
I would if I were them.
another thing with the Phillies, I don't want Moustakas. I don't want to trade
You
for
don't
Moustakas.
need Moustakas.
No, I'm fine with Franco. I'm not trading for Moustakas.
What do you need? I don't understand this thing with you guys trying to replace Franco when he's been playing really good ball lately.
I mean,
that makes no sense to me.
I don't know.
What do they have
I guess
against
the computer doesn't like him.
Moustakas? Listen, Moustakas is another hacker. He never gets any walks. Okay, he's always swinging the bat. He strikes out a lot. He hits a lot of home runs. But I mean, he's not. It's not worth giving up prospects to make your team marginally better. If you're gonna get better, get a lot better. Make it worth your while. This is what I say about the Yankees with getting J-Happ or Cole Hamels. It's not like these guys are that much better than Sonny Gray. They stink too. So what?
Sonny Gray is awful.
He's been better his last two outings. He did win his last two outings, and he's pitched better. I mean,
stake at home, but he's good on the road. Isn't that how?
Pitched pretty well against. He did pitch well against the Mets, although everybody pitches well against the Mets. Yeah, he does. He does. I mean, I just don't think he's. I don't think he can handle New York.
That doesn't even count. We get one of Tom Arnone to use 16 guys to throw against the fucking Mets, and he'd throw a gem.
That I would watch.
Yeah, well, he pitched well. He pitched well in Baltimore too. But I mean, you know, he's 7-7 now, even with the 5. Well, that just goes to prove one thing that the Yankees can hit. Because if you're 7-7 with a 5.7 ERA, that's saying a lot about how bad you are, but how good your team is behind you. I mean, I think the pressure is going to start going on Brian Cashman the more the Yankees continue to have pitching problems to go out and get that pitcher that they need. So now Stanton is up with runners on second and third and 2 outs. Stanton needs to get a hit here. If he gets a hit, it's 7-6. You know, and they're obviously back in the game. Even if they don't get the, I have a feeling. I mean, if I were them, I would walk him. I wouldn't be pitching to him.
And the game is now tied up between the Dodgers and Phillies. Max Muncy hits a sacrifice fly to Dubal Herrera, and Machado scores.
So it's 5-5.
It is now 5-5, 2 outs, top of the 7th.
But like, look at a team like the Dodgers, who just says fuck it. We're going for it. We're getting Machado. We don't care about 2019 at all. Take these 5 guys. We'll take Machado. We're going to try and win a World Series this year. That's the mentality I want from my front office. But look at the way they cultivate talent.
But the Dodgers are a now team.
The Phillies are in first place.
But they're a young team.
So?
The Dodgers are an old team.
Dan Marino went to the Super Bowl his rookie year. Everyone said, oh, look at how good this guy is. He's going to be at 10 Super Bowls in his career.
He
went back.
I agree.
You got to go for it.
When you have the opportunity, you should go for it.
The Sixers and Phillies, they're not going for it to my liking right now. And it makes me a little mad.
Well,
but, like, look at the Dodgers. Look at them cultivate young talent. You have Jock Peterson.
Like
Jock Peterson's not the best player in the world.
Jock Peterson stinks.
Okay, well, he hits leadoff. He's hitting .253 with 14 home runs. He's getting on base at a 340 clip, and he's slugging .527. I'd rather have him in right field than Nick fucking Williams. Max Muncy, 23 years old.
Max Muncy is a stud.
Came out of nowhere. He was on none of these lists.
No,
these
he
top
wasn't.
100 lists. He was not one of these prospects. The Dodgers find him. Chris Taylor comes out of nowhere last year. Plays every position on the diamond. Cody Bellinger contributes at 19 years old. How come Cody Bellinger, Ronald Acuna, and Juan Soto can be studs in the major leagues at 20 years old, and the Phillies have to wait till guys are 20-5 for them to do anything in the major leagues? It's so frustrating, and they're just going to dick around and waste this first-place team. That's what they're going to do. Very frustrating.
As far as waiting to guys,
agreed.
Well, let me ask you a question. As far as waiting for guys to be 25 years old, do you think it was worth it for the Yankees to wait till Judge was 25?
I mean, clearly, no player on the Phillies can even sniff Aaron Judge's jockstrap. He's going to hit 60 home runs a year until he's enshrined in Cooperstown.
Well, I mean, but he's 25. He's 25 now. I mean, it took him a while
while
to
he came
get
up when he was 23, I believe he was, right?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's what the Phillies do. But the Phillies or the Yankees were still on a run there for a while, winning, and then they had 2 kind of years when Jeter was.
They had those 2 shitty years that Jeter and Rivera were going through the league and
they had their
doing the
farewell
last
tour.
hurrah. Yeah.
They didn't make the playoffs a couple years in a row. Then they brought up Judge, and look, they're in the ALCS.
Well, they brought up Sanchez first, and then they brought up Judge the next year. Well, they brought Judge up, but he got hurt. Then the following season, he made it
but
last year.
the Yankees aren't scared.
No, they're not scared.
The Phillies
at all.
are scared. They
No.
want to protect these prospects because they know their prospects are average, and they know when they put them in either Double-A against all the other studs or bring them up early,
I think
and
the
they
difference-
stink, they'll be exposed.
I think the
They're
difference
scared.
between Cashman and Klentak is that Cashman isn't
Is
scared. He's
smart.
playing chicken. I think Klentak might be scared. I think that's the difference. I think Cashman's kind of playing chicken right now, and he's waiting to see what he's waiting.
But
he's
if you
waiting to
swing
see
and
who's
miss,
gonna-
I don't care. It's when you strike out looking, I get fucking pissed.
well, with the Machado thing, though, they just had better prospects.
Let me tell you something. Ruben Amaro, for as much shit as he takes in this town, if Ruben Amaro Jr. is the GM of the Phillies right now, Manny Machado is in the Phillies uniform. 100% guaranteed.
But who are they going to give Who are they going to give Baltimore that was going to be a better deal than what Baltimore got from the Dodgers?
Ruben will find a way.
He'd have
Maybe
to
you give him MLB players.
I don't know that Baltimore wanted MLB players. I think Baltimore might have wanted minor league players.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just
Sixto,
saying.
Medina, Hasley, ship them all out.
How about if they wanted Hoskins or Odubel or somebody like that? I mean, I don't know what they listen. I don't
Hoskins,
know.
I wouldn't give up, but
They
I
may
think
have wanted.
about Odubel.
They may have wanted Odubel. How old is Odubel?
He's before 30, 27,
Yeah, he's
26.
27, I believe.
Oh, that's too old. Baltimore's not going to want a 27-year-old. They're going to want 22, 23, 24-year-olds. I mean, they're going to want a minor leaguer with the potential of Nola. That's what they would want. I mean, obviously they're not going to get Nola, but you understand my my point. They want a minor leaguer who's got that kind of upside. They wanted from the Yankees. They want Justice Sheffield. The Yankees weren't going to do that, and I do believe the reason the Yankees didn't do that is because they want to use Sheffield as trade bait for DeGrom. I think that was the whole point of that. And I think they also wanted to make sure Boston didn't get Manny Machado too. That's why they wanted to be in it. I don't think they were ever really serious about it.
Right.
I think they just were in there to make sure Boston stayed away.
But when you do stuff like that, and then Justice Sheffield comes up and isn't as advertised, you look like an idiot.
Well, right now Sheffield, they're saying he's not ready to be a big leaguer yet. He's blowing away he's blowing away AAA. However, he's walking too many guys, and they don't like that. They want him to get his control better before they bring him up.
Let him figure it out on the Mets.
That could happen.
Mike Parker, Franco, 266, 13 homers, 47 RBIs. Moustakas, 245, 19 homers, 58 RBIs. I would also piggyback on that and say Franco was absolutely horrible the first couple months of the season. He's really that production's all within, June and July.
Kansas City is also
stinks.
Yeah, but Kansas City is also not a home run.
But I think
favorable.
Mike makes a good point. Is Mike Moustakas really that much better than Michael Franco?
Well, that's my point, Rob.
I think Franco's a better fielder.
Why give up? Oh, a lot of guys are better. Moustakas is not a good defensive player. Listen, he is a marginal upgrade. I would not be giving up top prospects for a guy who's going to make your team marginally better. What is the point of doing that?
I agree with that, but I'm not so sure the Phillies have a marquee Hall of Fame caliber guy in their farm system right now.
Well,
there's not a top 10 guy where I say, like Juan Soto. Everyone knew he was coming. There's a guy also in the Nationals named Victor Robles. He's coming. Brendan
Robles,
Rodgers.
I've heard of Robles, so I mean
Brendan Rodgers dominated the futures game for Colorado. He's coming. He's going to be good. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. You know these guys are going to be good. Those are the guys you hold on to or get a DeGrom for. Not Sixto Sanchez or Adam Hasley or Adonis Medina. Like, it's just a joke. You're just being scared. Which it shouldn't be about money here. In Philadelphia,
they've got money.
We're split hairs over millions of dollars when they have it.
Yeah, and their payroll is pretty low to boot.
It's just frustrating. And the Sixers just
Well-
now you're putting. I mean,
See, the Phillies.
I don't think Jimmy Butler does nothing for me for the Sixers. DeMarcus Cousins plays the same position as Embiid. Kyrie Irving needs the ball in his hands, or he's going to bitch and complain, because he bitched and complained when he was going to the finals every year with LeBron, because LeBron brought the ball up. So that's not going to work. Clay would be nice, but that's a maybe.
Here, the thing with Clay, and I like Clay. Don't get me wrong, okay? I'm just wondering. He's great on a great team. He's like he can drive the Corvette, but can he drive the Volkswagen?
I think he can, because he's an excellent defender, and people talk about Covington.
And he can shoot.
People talk about Covington as a 3-and-D guy. No. Klay Thompson is a 3-and-D guy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He makes all of his
But can he create his own shot? He doesn't really have to, though, because he's got Simmons to do that.
He'll have Simmons, and he'll run pick and rolls with Embiid.
Yeah, he'd be a nice piece. I mean, listen, there's going to be a plethora. You like that word, guys?
Yeah,
I love it.
There's going to be a plethora of big time free agents next season.
But I don't agree with that.
No,
we just ran through them. Jimmy Butler does nothing for me. DeMarcus Cousins plays the same position as Embiid. Kyrie Irving, not a fit here because he bitches and moans when he doesn't have the ball in his hands.
What about Durant? And I know you guys keep
Durant's
calling him
not
names.
losing. He's Durant.
But how do you know he might not want to come here? Do you know that for a fact? Is it 100% fact?
I don't see it at all.
Listen, the Knicks think that Durant might want to come to New York. Why wouldn't Philly think that he might want to come here? They may be delusional, but they think that he might want to come to New York.
He's going to stay. Here's Steph Curry's right hip. Kevin Durant won't be far off that right hip for the rest of his career.
How do you know he won't want to go back to OKC?
Why would he want to play with Russ? He hates Russell Westbrook. That's the reason he left in the first place.
You sure it wasn't that he just wanted to win a championship? That he wanted to cop out and win a couple of championships?
There's a combo.
He did get his 2 championships now, so maybe it's not as important to him to win now, because he's got a couple of notches on the lipstick case, as they would say, and maybe now he goes and plays for the money and goes somewhere else. Maybe he wants to go to New York, maybe he wants to go to Philly. I mean, as I said, I know you're laughing, but the Knicks seem to think that
Frankie
he
Dempsey
might want to come to New York. They seem to think that Kyrie is almost a shoo-in to want to come to New York if they want him, but they would rather have Durant.
It'll be a great fit because he'll have the ball in his hands.
Oh, in New York? Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
He
so
would.
that's perfectly fine. It doesn't work for Philadelphia because Simmons is going to have the ball in his hand. For F Deems, Durant goes to Washington, if anything. See, I don't agree with that. Durant had the chance to go to Washington already and said he didn't want to have the hoopla of playing in his hometown and having
that was a
41.
big surprise for me. I thought
because he's
Washington,
fucking soft.
I know.
He's soft.
I know.
He wanted
It's
to
ridiculous.
go. He wanted to go somewhere where he could win.
Yeah.
He wanted to win a championship because he feels like he's
And how
got
about
some
the
kind of a
Warriors,
legend.
the biggest scaredy cats in all of the league? They see LeBron come to their division, to a division rival, and they're all on their fucking phones, frantic for
What
Boogie
kind of-
Cousins to come.
it's like-
yo, you got to come. We got to make sure LeBron. We got to play him all these times a year. Got to play him in the Western Conference Finals. We got to man up. The most insecure dynasty I've ever seen in my life.
This is like something beyond like the Monstars from Space Jam. They had to figure out ways to get better.
I don't
than
understand
LeBron.
how
It's
anybody can be a
ridiculous.
fan of the Warriors. I don't
I
get
don't
it.
know.
I don't
It's
get
a
it.
stupid bandwagon.
But by the
crap.
way,
It's
But people
annoying.
want to bury LeBron for ring hunting. Like,
Right.
what are those guys
Yeah.
doing?
oh,
the Warriors-
absolutely, absolutely.
I kind of got what the Warriors were doing before they signed Durant. They wanted to
get
build
it.
a dynasty by the draft.
And
Then
that's
they get Durant, and then everything
Well-
just went down the shitter.
well, they
for
have
me.
they have a dynasty because they got the best second round draft pick of all time in
Yeah,
Draymond Green.
absolutely.
That doesn't happen in the second.
It doesn't
round.
happen.
I don't remember what
You
the
find
odds
diamonds
were.
in the rough with second round picks.
That's more than a diamond. Like Rodman was a diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
Above average role player.
Yeah.
Draymond Green's a max player.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like
that doesn't happen
that's
very
why
often.
the dynasty's a little bit of an anomaly, and you're not going to build a 70-win team strictly through the draft. And the
Right.
Warriors didn't build strictly through the draft. Sean Livingston was not a draft pick.
Yeah.
Andre Iguodala was not a draft pick. They brought in Pachulia. They brought in,
Right.
I'm sure I'm missing
made-
guys because
they-
they're not in basketball mode right now.
They made some shrewd moves along the way.
Yeah.
They did.
What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
The Warriors
Okay.
bringing some of those guys in.
Yeah.
Bringing guys like Iguodala. I mean that absolutely made
But
a difference.
no
for them.
dynasty was 100% built through the draft. That's why I
Right.
just think it's just fairy tale
Yeah.
land to say no. The process isn't authentic unless every guy was drafted
No,
by the
that's silly.
Sixers.
That's
That's
silly.
stupid.
No, that's
Yeah.
silly. Every team, every great team has.
Let's go
built
through the dynasty.
They go through. They
Look
go
at the
through
Bulls.
everything.
Look at the Bulls.
All right,
They
Jordan-
signed Robin.
Jordan-
They drafted
Jordan
Rodman
and
and
Pippen.
Pippen.
Robin
Yeah.
and Pippen.
Okay, but
No, Jordan and Pippen.
Jordan
and
and
Pippen,
Pippen.
they drafted. Okay,
Yeah,
but
Pippen
all the
was-
role, but
Pippen
all the
was eventually traded when
all-
he got drafted.
but
that's
all the
right.
role players were traded. Bill Cartwright was brought in for Charles Oakley.
Horace Grant was brought in.
Bill Wennington.
Bill Wennington. Bill
Tony
Wennington,
Kukoc.
Kukoc signed from
was
overseas.
a free agent.
Luke Longley.
Ron
another one.
Harper was the
Ron
starting
Harper.
point guard, I believe. He was not
He
a
was,
draft
but
pick.
he was on.
Cleveland.
He was also on the Clippers, wasn't he? Ron Harper.
I mean, I'd have to look up every team.
I thought he
played.
was-
Let's take a look at the Bulls
I
dynasty
thought that he was.
rosters.
I thought he was on the Clippers.
I remember him on the Cleveland.
What about Craig Hodges? No, Craig Hodges was drafted by the Bulls. Did they have? No, they didn't have. I'm thinking that they had Sam Perkins. On
Then
the
you
team. I
had
guess they
Kerr
didn't.
and the other.
Steve Kerr. And
Yeah, but
You
they
had the other guy.
But
who
almost
shot
every
threes all the
team
time,
that
too.
had a dynasty, they went and brought. I mean, the Lakers. Shaq wasn't drafted by the Lakers.
yeah.
Shaq was a free agent. Okay, Kobe was traded for. Okay, they for some stupid reason they traded him for the Hornets traded him for Vlade Divac.
Yeah.
yeah.
You
And then
you,
you have-
you tell me because I never could.
And
figure
then you
that
had
one out.
Yeah.
Robert Horry was a role player.
Right.
I remember Rick Fox on other teams besides before
Mostly
he came to
Boston.
the Lakers.
Mostly Boston.
I believe they did draft Derek Fisher, so that was a good draft pick. But he wasn't an all-star.
But he's
or
not an
anything.
all-star. He was just a very good player.
But even the bad boys in the '90s, like Lambeer came from
A lot of those were from
Lambeer
trades.
came from Cleveland. Vinny the Microwave Johnson was traded for. Isaiah Thomas was a draft pick.
Yeah.
Adrian Dantley was traded for. John Sally and Dennis Rodman were second-round picks that really worked out. So like this fake narrative that the process is impure because you trade some of these
that's
draft
ridiculous.
picks for a superstar, or you bring in free agents to fill around
Rob,
Embiid and Simmons.
let me
It's
go
just
back-
Nonsense.
let me go
It's
back to-
nonsense.
let me go back
This is
to
how these people think, though,
the
and
Knicks
I just bang my head against the wall.
The Knicks dynasty back in the '69 and '72 when they won those two championships. Okay, Clyde was drafted. Clyde Frazier.
Yeah.
Earl Monroe was traded to the Knicks from the Bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before that, they had Reardon, but then they had Dave DeBusschere, who was the most important player they probably got. He was traded for Walt Bellamy. If you
All right,
remember,
so
they
now
traded.
TT Ball wants to bring up the Spurs. Okay, there's the one.
The Spurs was the dynasty.
There's the
that was
one.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's
All
the
right.
one. There's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mean a team that purposely tanked to get Robinson, and then they purposely tanked to get what's his name?
They were
Tim
drafted.
Duncan.
They were all
Yeah.
drafted. So that's one.
All right.
That's one dynasty in the history of the NBA.
All right, they didn't have anybody from another team. Didn't Ginobili come from another team?
He came from overseas.
Okay.
Ginobili was overseas. Parker was overseas.
But you have to draft those guys in the
Yeah.
draft to have
Yeah,
them,
that's
right?
true.
So they drafted and stashed them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were drafted.
Tony
fine.
Parker was from France.
Yeah, Parker was from France.
I don't remember Parker or Ginobili in American college basketball. And I'm a bigger
I don't
college
remember
basketball
them.
fan than I am
Let me
an
figure out
NBA
what
I don't
fan.
remember.
Tony-
I don't remember them
Tony,
being in
Tony.
there.
It's a
either.
different NBA though. You're right, Dean. I mean,
But most teams, but almost all teams don't do it. Don't do it with just one way.
TT Bond. The Warriors won a ship with Steph, Clay, Draymond, and Barnes all drafted. Yeah, they only won that championship because Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love got hurt, and it still took that team 6 games to beat LeBron James. And
Yeah,
then they
that's
lost.
true.
Then they lost. They won 73 games in 2016 and lost at home in Game 7 to LeBron, and then said, fuck this. This guy's too good. We got to get Durant in here.
Right, because they couldn't. Because they.
I don't
still
understand
couldn't
how
win.
anybody can be a fan of that.
No, that was just piling on.
My main point being is the narrative that the process is all of a sudden impure because you trade a couple of the pieces for Kawhi.
Well, who says that though?
Or-
I don't know who would.
TTT Ballin, I mean, he's not coming out and saying that, but he's sort of saying that. If you read between the lines of his comments in the YouTube chat,
Yeah, I disagree with
you got to
that.
fill in around the Ben and Joe. Ben and Joe, you can do it without Saric if you make the right move and trade Saric. You do it without Fultz if you make the right trade and get the right piece to complement. You can do it, and that's not bad. It's called sports and improving
Yeah,
and filling around your guys. It's just I would have liked to see the Phillies and the Sixers be a little more aggressive. And this Phillies still can be aggressive at the trade deadline.
listen, the
but you're
trade
not gonna get
deadline is still.
Machado.
The trade deadline is the big fish has already been traded.
There's one big fish. It was
Yeah.
Machado, and he's gone. Unless DeGrom gets moved, but the Phillies aren't going to get DeGrom.
No, they're not going to get DeGrom.
It would be a
Mets
miracle if
never,
they get
the
DeGrom.
Mets would never trade him in the
Yeah.
division.
No,
That
because
would
the
be-
Phillies farm system stinks, and it's overrated, and I don't think there's many good players in it.
Well, they can't offer what the Yankees could offer right
No,
now.
and that's the other problem.
The Yankees farm
The
system
Phillies
has
could offer them
guys
their
that are
top
ready.
5 prospects, and then Cashman goes, "Oh, well, here we'll give you prospects 5 through 10, and it's a better package than what the Phillies can offer." You're dead before you start. when
Yeah,
you're
the
Phillies.
Yankees. The Yankees right now could offer the Phillies. Could offer the Mets 4 top 10 draft prospects, and I don't think anybody could match it.
The Phillies, but the Yankees don't even have one top 10 prospect in baseball, according to MLB Pipeline.
Well, because they're all playing.
Agreed.
You know, at this point, what would you consider Clint Frazier? He's not considered a prospect anymore because he's
He's still a prospect.
Okay.
Andahar and Torres aren't prospects.
no Andahar is still a very good player.
But even Andahar was never a top 100 prospect.
Right, it doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to be real good players. in
Right. Like they got the guy Diaz. The Orioles got the guy Diaz who had 2 bombs in the Futures game. He was like 64th prospect, I think he was on MLB Pipeline. I could be wrong. I could be off on my numbers there, but the other 3 guys weren't on the top 100, but they're all hitting 350 in AAA or AA. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
I think
those-
they threw
that-
in one
those-
journeyman 26-year-old guy from AAA.
Remember, those rankings are somebody's opinion. It doesn't necessarily mean they are gospel. I mean, they're not. I mean, how has Jan Moncada done with the White Sox? He hasn't really
He's starting to play better, but he was hurt for a while.
done.
And
He
then
hasn't been all that in a bag of chips. He's not definitely wasn't worth Chris Sale right now.
No.
So I mean,
But
you
Chris
just,
Sale kind of he was being a little baby too there in Chicago at the end.
oh, he was acting
Remember
like
he cut up
acting
his jersey with the scissors,
Yeah,
and
he was being
everyone was like, "Oh, he probably just hurt his market."
yeah, he
He
was
had his
acting
ass
like
shipped out of town. Is in Boston. They started 3 straight All-Star games.
yeah,
That's what he's done.
Right, but everybody knew he was a great pitcher, though. He was just acting like an idiot because he wanted to get out of there.
How is that different than what Kawhi Leonard did last season?
Oh, it's no different. Actually, you're right.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, the only thing
think
is,
outside the
but-
process. You say
but-
think outside the box.
No,
think outside the process.
the difference though is that
Fill
Sale,
in around Joe and Ben.
Sale
It's
still,
okay if they're not draft
but
picks.
Sale
it's okay.
Sale was signed for like 3 or 4 years. That's the difference.
I understand it's not the same exact thing.
Yeah, and he had no
But
say. He had no say. I mean, Sale had to pitch in Boston, and he wasn't. Why would he not want to pitch in Boston? Boston's a great place to play if you're a great player.
And if you're white.
Yeah, as long as you're white.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're also the most racist town too. But
by far.
I mean, that is
It's true.
true.
yeah, oh, it is true. And
They were by far the last to integrate, to to have a black person on.
Well, just ask Adam Jones what he thinks of Boston, and he'll.
And that's why I think Machado will never play there either.
I don't think he would either, because he had some really bad blood in Boston. So, both with the team and with the fans. So, I mean, you're probably right about that.
I hate them. All right, 10:06, 6 minutes over. Man, the arguing with Tom.
By
took a lot out of
by
me.
the way,
Yeah, you guys-
by the
I
way,
need a nap
guys,
after that.
by the way, I just
Had a show
do
there.
want to mention. Remember when I said that the Rays should have walked Stanton?
Yeah.
Stanton got a 2-run single to bring the Yankees to within
Oh, yeah.
7-6.
Good for them.
I don't know what the score is now, but it was 7-6.
It is 6-7.
Still 7-6. Okay.
All right,
So
that'll do it for the Sports Hounds this week. We'll be back next week. Same station, same place, same time, same crew. See you next Monday.